You're watching Suck Professor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
James.
James. Hello, James.
Hello. I know what you're thinking.
Hold me.
Finally a straightforward episode.
Finally, the show comes into crystal clear sense. Episode 8 here, everybody. We're going to do our shot-by-shot breakdown. Kind of a long discussion podcast. Like, subscribe, go, don't be nice to your friends and family and everything else. So, James, what the fuck did this was a departure from, is this a different show?
I loved every second of it.
I actually enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was perplexed. I was swimming in anxiety and doubt, but I was compelled and mesmerized most of the time.
It was almost like an art film in and of itself, the entire episode. It all took place, I think all of it took place at night, didn't it? Either in black and white or set at night, which is something I absolutely love.
That was interesting, yeah, generally.
And to me, it seems like it answered a lot of questions of the genesis of the Twin Peaks universe in terms of the lodge and the entities that inhabit it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm saying yes as if I'm confirming what you're saying. I have no idea what the fuck happened. But it did seem like it was about primordial forces. That's what kept going into my mind. Like when you film a cloud.
Yeah, well, when I hear primordial, I think of like the primordial ooze, the evolution of mankind, of creatures eons and eons ago.
Well, expand your mind there, fuckboy. I'm talking about the Big Bang. I'm talking about the early soup of the universe.
Well, that's what I'm saying too, but what we witnessed took place in 1945, which is slightly a little bit too late to be primordial.
Now, James, let's not...
That's like calling your mother primordial.
Oh, you haven't met my mom. My mom's a paramecium. No, I don't mean...
I get what you're saying.
I don't mean specifically the time frame is what matters. Is more the forces at play, the interaction of basic elements. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Not so much, 1954, or we should call the Big Bang negative 14.8 billion after Jesus or before Jesus. Fuck, I screwed up the joke. God damn it.
I wouldn't want to think about my mom's primordial years before her Big Bang.
Yeah. Your mom had a Big Bang and then there was some primordial ooze.
Okay, that just got worse.
Ooh. Okay, so good shudder. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. We're gonna do it, guys. Here we go. Thanks for finding our channel, everybody. If you're new, you're probably already annoyed by me.
Probably already turned it off.
That
was a joke.
You know what? A percentage of people give us a chance, and some of them really like it. And then some people give us a chance, and then they leave hateful comments.
Yep.
And those are called my family. All right, so here we are. Their opening scene, Laura Palmer. With the opening thing, we've all seen that, or the Twin Peaks.
Most normal part of the whole episode.
Yeah. I was like, all right, just settle in for another rage-filled viewing session.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna see Dougie swallow his own tie, then we're gonna see some coffee.
His own tie.
But no, we didn't get that.
I was hoping for some jade. I wanted to see maybe the statue of David Bowie. All right,
which was not David Bowie.
I know, I call David Bowie now that I know it's not,
because
I'm trying to cause chaos. I'm like the guy in Fight Club who's not really ambitious. All right, so there's floor. All right, so then these guys are in the car. They just got out of jail.
Right, this is Mr. C and Ray, who we know were just, like you said, in the Yankton Federal Penitentiary.
In South Dakota.
Yes. Or state penitentiary. I don't know if it was federal or state.
Yeah.
But he had that, by he, I mean Mr. C had that conversation with the warden where he referenced Joe McCluskey, and he referenced Mr. Strawberry and that whole cryptic exchange, which scared the warden enough to allow him to talk his way into a release.
Which would create a lot of trouble for David Lynch and Miguel Ferrero, the FBI guys.
Yes, or Albert and Agent Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Gordon Cole.
Yeah, which is their fictional names. I call them by their real names because I'm respectful. All right, so then he's got a thing on his phone. He goes, I got 3 tracking devices on here. And he taps them and they kind of go away. Is he talking about the car they're driving? There are,
yes, because there was a beige rental. He asked for a rental from the warden, but the warden put 3 tracking devices on it. So he was letting him go, but he wasn't really letting him go.
But is he turning these, is he turning them off here? Like, what is C, fire, docks, dick?
It's hard. I mean, C, he's referenced as Mr. C, fire walk with me. Maybe this is some sort of weird lodge-like phone app.
DX?
I mean, why not?
DMX bicycles, could be.
It looks like a record in the middle, and the phonographs are a big part of this.
Yeah.
I think we're going down bullcrap road with this.
It's a boob with a nipple or a donut. Either way, put it in my mouth. And then there's, get up close behind that truck. So maybe he transfers it to the truck or something?
Yeah, he puts in the license plate number of the truck up there, and somehow it seems as though he transfers the tracking device to the truck or something, or repositions it, reprograms it. We know he has a way with electricity, and
electricity.
Yeah,
That seems like it should be a word.
Yeah, it should be. But he has a way with that. We saw him do it on the laptop in the cabin.
Yeah.
We saw to get the blueprints and the schematics for the prison. We saw him do it in the prison with the telephone. So he's got abilities with electrical devices, being a being of the lodge.
Yeah.
That we don't quite are supposed to.
So
I don't think we're supposed to understand it.
He's using his powers somehow here with the phone and during types it in. Anyway, he just like throws it out the window though. He just rolls the window down and tosses the phone.
Because I think he knows that you can track a phone.
Yeah. So he's done with the phone and good for him. He's got his own apps. He's like Steve Jobs without the.
Yeah, he basically says that should do it. Throws it out the window.
Yeah, so I sure hope you're not sore at me for running off. Thanks for getting me out. So then they, Daria. What are they talking about here now?
Okay, Daria was the woman in the bed who was on the phone at the time that he walked into the hotel room. She was talking to Ray about the order from Philip Jeffries that they were going to kill Mr. C, being Doppelganger Coop.
Okay.
She didn't know that he was recording it and listened in on it, so he knew her plot as he walked into the room. So once he kind of convinced her or let it loose to her that he knew of her deceit, he put a pillow over her head and pulled the trigger.
All right. Daria was the hot redhead.
Well, more red now than before.
Because of the blood?
Yes. More like spaghetti head.
James, that's an inappropriate joke.
Yes.
It's inappropriate. I emailed you this morning about it being inappropriate on this YouTube channel.
Right. So
stop it.
All right. So Ray is not aware that Daria is dead.
Yeah.
Ray is not aware that Mr. C is aware of his order from Philip Jeffries to kill him.
Right.
So right now Mr. C is holding all the cards, as he was with Daria.
Sure.
And he knows one thing. Why did he need Ray out of prison?
Why did Philip Jeffries need Ray out of prison?
Well,
who's he?
When I say he, I mean Mr. C at this point.
Oh, Ray out of prison. Ray picked him up. I don't know.
He picked him up. They left prison together.
Oh, Ray was also in prison?
Yes. That's the whole reason he allowed himself to get incarcerated there, to get him out.
I don't remember that.
Okay, the whole thing that was going on...
This is why I don't watch the backstory.
Okay.
That's why watching the first two seasons, I can't remember shit that happened last week, man.
Right.
I don't know what the hell. My brain is messed up.
Okay, so if you remember from a couple weeks back, Ray and Daria were basically brought into the fold by Mr. C.
Sure.
Mr. C's plan was he needed to get something from the secretary of William Hastings, Bill Hastings, who was the principal of the school and the guy who was charged with the crime of killing Ruth Davenport and the, as of then, unidentified body of the male in the bed, which we now know is Major Garland Briggs.
And that principal was played by Scooby-Doo guy.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo guy, exactly.
Zoinks!
The same guy who we saw sitting in the jail cell, which panned over to the right, we saw that burned-out, scorched woodsman apparition, which is making a lot more sense once we get to that point in this episode.
They sure made an appearance in this episode.
Yeah.
So okay.
So essentially, for some reason, the secretary had coordinates, and these coordinates were important to Mr. C. Now we don't know what the coordinates are to. We don't know what the significance is. I can take a guess though, but he's trying to get those numbers.
Okay, the coordinates. So okay.
And he said that someone would only tell them to Ray. It had to be Ray. So Ray went, got the coordinates. Now he has them memorized, but he realizes how important they are to Mr. C.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I got them memorized, but I'm kind of starting to think that these numbers might be worth a lot of money. A whole lot of money. Quite
a lot of money. And that's when he finally turns and looks at him. Up until this point, he hasn't even looked at him at all.
Yeah, do not extort that guy.
Yeah, this is a fella you don't mess with. Anybody who's filled with creamed corn, you leave alone.
Garmonbozia.
Sorry, with gourmet Garmonbozia.
And that's the point. He's not filled with that anymore. He barfed it all.
That's right. Oh yeah, after the car accident, right?
Well,
or was that one? Yeah. See, I remember some stuff. All right, there it is. All right, take a little road up there on the right. So before
this, they say that they're going someplace. I think Mr. C says you're probably going to want to go to the farm, and Ray's like, yeah, I think we're going to go there. Now we don't know what the farm is,
right?
But at this point, the music is getting really foreboding, as though something terrible is about to happen.
Yes,
like Ray is driving into his own death trap unknowingly.
Right, and that's something we're going to miss throughout much of this recap. Is the sound design in this episode was very important to the experience of this episode. For me, unfortunately, I watched it in a bright room here, and so it's such a dark episode I couldn't see it. So I really relied on the sound a lot. I mean, not that I was blind here, but this would have been a much better experience in a dark room with good sound. I had good sound. Okay, so We do hear lots of music
Yeah,
building,
and there's
swelling.
dead
and
silence between the two of them. So they're
Yeah.
basically driving there. We know something Ray doesn't know.
Yes.
We know that Mr. C has it in for Ray. Once he's got the information from Ray that he needs, Ray's a dead man.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that we say take a leak when really we should be giving leaks? Like, if you're taking a leak, you should be sucking fluid up your dick.
Spring a leak?
Spring leak. That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that, James. That's the political message I've been waiting to say. So he goes over and he pees. James, when you get out of how far away do you walk from a car when you take a piss on a road
Just
trip?
on the hood.
Just right on the
Right
hood?
across the windshield.
James made me laugh. Don't be funnier than me. I emailed you about that. Turn on the wipers. Yeah, well, I'm not going to add any more of that. All right, so he walks away and, takes a little whiz. He opens up his friend drawer.
Exactly, because what he said to the warden was, I want a friend in the glove compartment.
Would be funny if there was like a tiny little guy in there. He's going like,
Yep.
hey, man, you want to go skiing this
Michael
weekend?
J. Anderson, just dancing.
Yeah. But he's nice. He's like, I'll help you move your couch. No problem. Checks the bullets, walks out, and he pulls out his gun. He says, Ray, I want that information.
And Ray happens to have a piece in his belt as well.
Well, we all
Pulls
have
that
a
out.
piece near our belt, don't we, James? Wink. Why would I wink? Okay, I think you're wrong about that. And then all of a sudden, oh no, gun, click, click, click. No, it doesn't work. Must be blanks.
Yeah.
Or just dead.
Empty.
Empty.
If it was blanks, it would go off.
Oh yeah, blanks go off. Oh, that would have been a good. But anyway, he goes. What does he say there, James?
Tricked you.
Yep, fucker.
Yeah, that as well.
I'm always trying to trick James into swearing. You fucker.
So this is important because this is the first time we've seen anyone pull the wool over the eyes of Mr. C. He always had this sort of like psychic knowledge of things,
Yeah.
seeing things before they happen.
Or that.
And he's got the power of Bob inside him, so
The power of Bob.
it compels him.
Yeah, he'd be good. That's why he's good at bobbing for apples.
Yeah.
Right, but
So this shocked me.
he didn't. And even though he checked the bullets, so those were good fakes. Those weren't just like chiclets or
I guess so.
Candy corn or something. Yeah, so he hits him. He shoots him. I think. Oh no, that's not a bullet.
Makes me wonder though, how did Ray have time to do that?
Time to do what?
Considering to mess with the
Yeah,
gun.
like at what point did he get in there and mess with the gun?
And did he like pull the warden aside and says, before we get in this car, I want something, man. I want some fake bullets.
I mean,
It's not like
maybe.
he smuggled fake bullets in his butt out of the prison.
Well, why would the prison give him real bullets? Maybe he knew that they would give him useless bullets or something.
But then how did he have a gun?
I don't know.
He didn't have the gun in his cell, I assume.
Someone smuggled it in a cake, like a file. Like the old-timey way of
Maybe.
breaking
I mean, that part kind of
deadbeat
confused
dad
me a
out
bit.
of prison.
Like, he made his own deal with the warden outside of what Mr. C said.
That's a good question.
Because we don't see the interaction between the warden and Ray until Ray emerges after Mr. C does his deal.
Yeah, this is a good point. I'm definitely going to write my senators about this. This needs to be answered.
And we know that Ray wants to kill Mr. C. Because he
Right.
was ordered to by Philip Jeffries, so it would make sense that he would tell the warden, he goes, hey, I know you're being forced to let this guy out. This guy's directly threatened you. How about you put a fake gun in the glove compartment, you give me a real gun right now, and I'll take care of your problem for you.
Yeah, that could be it. That worked with the warden. I mean, the warden's obviously willing to compromise his ethics or duty or whatever.
Ray's not
based
threatening
on,
the warden.
you
The
know.
one that scares the crap out of the warden is Mr. C.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's kind of what happened.
Okay, that's a sense. I mean, that's as plausible an explanation as I think we can probably come up with. So, gun fires, pow, pow, take that, and he goes down. Ooh, shot right in the chest. That's no good. No one likes getting blasted in the belly or the chest or anywhere really, probably. Ominous atmospheric music, and now at this point, there's a lot of flashy light. Sometimes it's enough light. And I was pressing the screenshot button a lot, hoping to catch it. So we'll see what we got. And I am going to brighten this up in Premiere when I edit this after we record because it is dark for us while we're watching it. But so this was really creepy.
Yeah.
This whole sequence. So all of a sudden, these sort of what do we call these guys? Soot-faced
Woodsmen.
Woodsmen. So
And they're even called that in the credits. And in the subtitles, I mean.
because they're wearing blackface, but it's not coming from.
No, it's not a racial thing.
No, not at
It's
all.
like someone's like working in the mines, or they have soot from a chimney or
But they're
something over their
completely
face.
covered, and I mean, there's just that, and I just don't want to say the blackface guy. That doesn't.
Right. I mean,
yeah,
that's
not-
a whole different
That's
thing.
a whole. But
That's a shameful vaudeville thing. That's
sure. And every year there's at least one or two dumb sorority girls goes as blackface on Halloween,
Yep.
and then something that makes the news.
yeah, like Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
So did that one Julianne Hough or something like that.
Oh.
But there's always just some dumb Halloween person that's like, "Hey, don't do that." It's like, all right, well, okay. So it's an American tradition, you know. But anyway, back to the show. So the way they came out of the woods, this reminded me of Ghost. You know, the movie where
with the Patrick Swayze, where like the demons just emerge, drag you down to hell.
They kind of come out of the shadows and they go.
I like what you're saying though. How would you describe?
No, thank you.
How would you describe how they appear?
Edited.
Okay. Well,
shifty. Like they phase in and out. They kind of they're. I don't know.
Let me read a quote for you from the something that I'm about to pull up from the something. It's
what's this from?
This is from a deleted scene, I believe, or a deleted script line from Fire Walk with Me.
Okay.
I think it's part of the true story or the secret story of Twin Peaks, or from Missing Pieces. I think it's probably more from Missing Pieces. But there's a scene above the convenience store where the Woodsmen are present. There's 2 Woodsmen there.
Okay.
And one of the line of dialogue is, the first Woodsman says, "We have descended from pure air."
Okay.
Kind of describes how they land on the scene, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Good. Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you didn't read that, no. Yeah, totally. They descended from pure air. But the kind of like opacity effect. I mean, like this is the kind of like special effect I'm capable of, because you just layer a bunch of videos and you chop them up and you do different opacities, possibly different blend modes, and then you end up with like like he's a little bit see-through. Everybody's a little like there.
Yeah.
And, so, but. It had a very ominous, terrifying thing. Like this guy thought he got a one-up. Oh yeah, and then they go right over to his body. But this dude here, let me back up. I know it's a little bit weird here. Ray thought that he had gotten. This is the end of his. Here he'd won, but no. There's greater forces at play in this thing, in this drama that you're not aware of.
He never really knew what he was dealing with. At this point, he now knows.
Or at least he's been exposed to what he's dealing with is not what he thought.
Yeah, I don't get the impression that the Woodsmen make themselves visible to just anyone.
Well,
the fact that he could see them kind of surprised me.
Oh, okay. I see
because we saw the Woodsman in the hospital when Lieutenant Knox was on the phone with Davis.
Yeah.
Walking behind there, but we didn't know for a fact whether anyone could see them because no one acknowledged him, although we saw him walk by twice.
Yes, that's right.
No one in the jail cell. No one saw that person because his head floated up and he disappeared into a laughing. He ascended into pure air.
Ascended, yep. Okay. So then they're on the ground going at him and moving his shirt and doing shit to his body. And,
so they're digging at the bullet wound.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're rubbing blood and crap all over his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but it's all with these like kind of strobe effect, kind of lighting going on a little bit. It's not quite a fast strobe. It's more of an intermittent, random thing. And this guy's just like, oh shit, fuck.
I would have run a lot sooner.
Yeah, I would have gotten out of there right away. I think I would. I run when I fart. Like I would have.
That should speed you up.
Woo! Yeah. Well, and then in order to slow down, I turn around and I fart to decelerate. Like when they fly to Mars and stuff.
Yeah.
So there he goes. Oh, geez, man, boy, I shouldn't have become a deadbeat criminal. I'm using deadbeat. It's the second time I said that word. Distorted moaning, and it's all real intense and weird and fucking crazy.
So I think it's safe to say that these creatures, these woodsmen, are not from a happy, good part of the lodge.
I sense that's probably true.
Because there was this whole notion of there being a waiting room in the lodge, there being a white lodge and a black lodge.
Yeah.
Some people say the lodge is all one piece of the lodge. Some people say there's 3 pieces to it. I kind of fall on the side of there being a white lodge and a black lodge.
Yeah.
And if these creatures had to belong to any part of the lodge, I would side with the black lodge.
Okay, the black lodge.
Which tells me that the creature that was in the cell, the woodsman that was in the cell next to Bill Hastings, probably was the entity that inhabited his body, took control of him, and caused him to murder Ruth Davenport.
Oh, wow. That's good insight. Yeah. Like that would make sense because he was he had no idea that what happened that night.
Yeah, he said he lost time.
And his fingerprints were all over that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, the thing is, the giant is a being of light, of goodness, who helps guide Cooper. We know
Are you quoting my OK Cupid profile?
We know that the man from another place, who is now a tree with a coconut on it, as you said.
Microwaved cantaloupe.
Was more of a guiding spirit, too. He never seemed to wish malice.
Yeah.
Mike was also an evil spirit turned useful.
Uh-huh.
But those were all more like waiting room guys, except for the giant, who was White Lodges.
Okay.
And the horse, White Lodge as well.
Yeah.
So it really makes me think there is an evil
It's like the woodsmen are like they're sort of it's like in Lord of the Rings, who are not the Uruk-hai, the 7 or
the ring wraiths.
The ring wraiths. They're sort of like upper level lieutenants of the evil powers that be, that kind of perform tasks or something. Like they're not
I
the.
wouldn't necessarily call them upper level though.
Well, I mean, there's task. I don't know how to describe
Taskmasters.
Is taskmasters?
Yeah, that's
okay.
a word.
Like they're part of the will of whatever the evilness is exacting. You know what I mean? Like they're like goons in service of this intention or whatever.
Yeah, and I'd originally theorized that what these guys were, based on the fire walk me scene, is that the log lady's husband was a lumberjack. He was a logger. He died in a fire.
Yeah.
Fire, soot all over your face, woodsman, lumberjack, and that was the spirit above the convenience store, and that he was inhabiting the piece of wood she was carrying because of the whole ghost wood connection.
Yeah.
And we see that again with the woman being sucked into the doorknob in the hotel that we saw in the prior episode.
Right. Man, I bet she's got a lot of splinters on her inner thighs.
Yeah, Josie.
All right. Oh, we good to go then? He gets in the car?
I think that my interpretation of that being the husband of the log lady is kind of thrown out the window by this episode.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see for next week's episode when we descend into something else crazy, Big Bird's belly or something. All right, so he takes off. He runs away in the car, which he should have done like right away. But
okay.
So we get more flashes, and boy, David Lynch just took his fucking time.
Oh, you actually missed something pretty important.
I always do that.
And I can't tell.
You mean my kid's birth?
I don't know if it's just because it's so dark we can't see it in these screenshots, but what happens is that they're digging at the bullet wound, and slowly this sort of like, it looks like a black spherical tumor or cancer almost starts rising out of his abdomen. Right. Oh, go back forward. Go back.
It'll be brighter in our when I
but anyway,
so we might be looking at it right here. Is that it?
I think that's it right there. It starts rising out of the area where he was shot, and we can see Bob's face superimposed on it.
Okay.
So we can tell something right now.
Oh, yeah, I totally missed it. I definitely didn't see it because that comes up later. We're going to see exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it comes up later, but we see it rising out of Mr. C's body.
Yeah.
Which seems to me to imply that Mr. C is losing Bob at this point. He is separating himself from the body now that the body has died in a sense.
Like everybody's soul looks like a basketball dipped in tar.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's. Okay. Good. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah. So it's like dark on my screen and it's bright in this room, and I'll brighten it later. Okay. So
and we know Bob was within him because when he looked into the mirror and his face transformed into Frank Silva's face.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Good, you're still here."
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. All right. So we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And a moon. I love the moon because it's familiar. And then he goes, so he's on the phone, he's reporting back to his bosses, think he's dead. I saw something in Cooper. It may be the key with what this is all about.
And real quick, I had a thought after that last scene. And I wrote down here, does that fulfill the requirement of the Lodge spoken by Mike that one of you must die, further by the command don't die in a later episode? And does this mean that the real Cooper is now cleared to come back? So I was thinking, okay, now Mr. C is dead, so Dougie is going to snap back, and suddenly he's no longer in Dougie's shoes. He is the true, legit Cooper.
Because we don't have copies of Cooper splitting up the energy.
Yes, one has died, so now.
Right.
But I was wrong.
I can't believe human beings are an animal that came up with all this crazy shit that we're talking about right now. We're the weirdest animal on this planet. All right, so all of a sudden we cut to... he says if he comes after me, I'll kill him. And,
Ray is talking to who?
Philip Jeffries?
Yes.
Yeah.
Saying he thinks Cooper is dead, but he found some kind of help.
Yeah, he's going, beep, hello, this is evidence for the trial. I'm giving you an update on the murder you just ordered me to commit.
Right. He says, I saw something in Cooper. It may be the key to what this is all about.
Yep.
I told him where I'm going, so if he comes after me, I'll get him there.
Right.
So what did he see in Cooper? He saw Bob rising out of Cooper. He's telling this to Philip Jeffries, who knows about Mr. C being a doppelganger. Vis-a-vis, he knows about the Lodge. He knows about Bob.
Yeah.
I think he even referenced it because I'll be reunited with Bob or something like that on that telephone call.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season.
Right.
So what is Philip Jeffries after? Is he after Bob?
I don't know. What do you think?
Why does he want to kill Mr. C?
Do you have answers to those questions?
No.
Or are you just throwing them out there?
Throwing them out there.
Throwing them out there. Everybody, if you catch it, leave a comment. All right. Then, okay, next scene. Discordant instrumentation, which would be a good name for this podcast. Or for this, I call it. I don't even know if it's a YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer guy. Oh, he's got a pine cone.
God.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, man. That's a nice one too, nice and woody. Not one of those fucking weak ass soft pine cones. Look at that thing. You'd step on it, it would sound like celery. when you break it, it's crunch. It's one of the most satisfying crunches in nature, James.
You would
even more
like the log lady.
I am like the log lady. I am the pine cone man.
Yeah.
I love pine cones, everybody. Check out my Instagram, link in the description. My dream is to make enough money to live near a pine tree. All right, so band playing 9 Inch Nails. The guy goes, oh yeah, 9 Inch Nails, and I was like, what the fuck, 9 Inch Nails? And I know Trent Reznor's a big not just like the 9 Inch Nails guy. Like he does all kinds of film scores. And he's a composer. Like he's a very, very talented musician.
Did you think it was a coincidence though that this happened right after Bob was freed from the body of Mr. C?
Well, nothing's a coincidence.
Well, if you think about it, the lyrics: "She's gone away, she's gone, she's gone, she's gone away."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Go ahead.
And when he yells that, and he's got the big tooth like that right there, perfectly.
Ah!
It just resonated with me as though something that Bob would be doing.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Talking about Laura Palmer.
Yeah, he's talking about...
And I know it's a stretch. I'm not...
Well, did they write this song for the show, or did they...
No, the song existed before the show.
Oh, it did? Okay. So while the skin turns black, huh?
Yeah.
That's important. Cut along the length. See? Making hot dogs for the kids for lunch.
Or cutting the plastic to wrap her in.
Oh, yeah. Is that a thing they do? They wrap
Laura Palmer was found wrapped in plastic and dead.
Okay. Well, that's just a classic move. What are you going to dispose somebody in a degradable sheet? That's crazy. You do plastic. So the body doesn't...
I know someone's going to give you a whole lot of crap for not knowing that Laura Palmer was wrapped in plastic.
What the fuck would I know that shit?
If you go to like a bar and order a Laura Palmer, they give it to you wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Oh, I said Arnold Palmer. God damn it. Honey, we're going to leave a negative Yelp review about this Applebee's. All right, so she's gone. A lot of that. Last thing.
And he also says, I was watching on the day she died.
Yeah.
Who was watching? Bob was, because he was killing her.
Right. Well, that's usually
so
how it goes.
it's quite a bit of a stretch to say that Trent Reznor is possessed by Bob, but this seemed to be like a very fitting song, a very fitting tone, a very fitting mood to make you think of Bob.
Yeah, I got the sense that they just put this in there because David Lynch was able to book a big band.
Yeah.
like instead of one of those other fucking bands, which those are probably other bands too or whatever, but like he's got this little sound stage where they film the bands and do the bar scenes. And he got 9 Inch Nails to show up, so it's like, well, we're definitely putting him in the fucking show.
Yeah,
and he's an intense...
I want you to sing, I want to F you like an animal. It's like, no, David, that wouldn't be good.
Feel me from the inside. Put your finger up my butt. You think David Lynch's pubes look just like his head, like his hair, like silver and nicely...
Like Eraserhead.
Nicely combed. Yeah, like Hellraiser?
Eraserhead.
Is Razorhead? What's that one?
Oh my god.
Is it like Hellraiser?
Oh my god.
Is it... What?
I can't protect you anymore. They're going to kill you. They're going to come through the window.
All right.
David Lynch fans.
I'm going to say Mary, Mary, Mary in the mirror 3 times. Then I'll have my own demon spirit fighting against your demon spirit, James. Mary, Mary, Mary. Is that... Okay.
That's
anyway,
Bloody Mary, by the way.
I know. I don't care. Whatever.
All right, so where were we?
Voodoo. Although I would never do it. So I'm jumping ahead here. Sorry. So then the band, they're all... There's a woman, and she was singing and stuff. A guy playing a guitar there, and one guy playing with the little knobs. That's always a fun job in the band, a guy that fucks around with knobs and pretends like he's listening. Like, oh. No, I know. They're actually doing stuff. But... All right, so that was that. But I was just like, oh, God, another band thing. Okay, this early. So then, what?
Immediately after the music ends, the song ends, up rises Mr. C.
And he's alive.
Now, presumably, just the doppelganger, with no Bob included.
Oh.
Bob sold separately.
Bob is gone. So this is just...
This is just Doppelcoop now.
But who's inside of him?
Nobody. He's Doppelganger Coop.
So before he was taken over by
he was a doppelganger that was possessed. Well, not. I guess you could say possessed, but he had a passenger, as you call it, a dark passenger of Bob. If you want to use a Dexter reference.
I'm confused, but I'm not going to make you explain it because it's fine. It's totally okay. All right, so then we cut to like this big landscape shot or something. It was like, so I'm thinking in this episode like, wow, this is already fucked up. They did the music early. This episode can't get any crazier.
Yep. Was there a little part of you that was just praying for credits at that point?
A little bit. I kind of knew that it wouldn't be credits that early, but I was like, what the hell? Why are they doing this? And like this,
it could. I wouldn't put it past David Lynch, but the credits like 10 minutes into the episode, and the remaining 50 minutes is him on the toilet staring at the camera and drooling.
Yes. While slowly, while something like a puddle of blood forms on the ceiling,
or a banana just spins on its own power on the floor.
Yep, I can see that. Or it's just David Lynch parkouring around Paris. All right.
Okay, now
so
I gotta
I-16, 1945.
I gotta ask you a question before you go past that.
All right.
What happened on that date?
Well, I recognize White Sands more than the date, but I figured it was a nuclear test site.
Yes.
Because that's what I understand White Sands.
July 16th, 1945 at 5:29.
So this is that one
This
of those
is the
tests.
exact moment of the Trinity nuclear test.
Oh, wow.
That actually happened.
Okay.
And I'm reading a little bit of Wikipedia
Give
here.
us
but
a
it
little
says,
info.
It was conducted by the United States Army at 5:29 a.m. on July 16th, 1945 as part of the Manhattan Project. The test was conducted in the Jornada del Muerto desert about 35 miles southeast of Sirocco, New Mexico.
Okay. Cool.
So, what does that mean?
Well, it's grounded in reality, at least there.
Yeah.
So, is this a hydrogen bomb? What kind of bomb was it?
It just says nuclear. I think it was like an atom bomb, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. Well, they were doing fission bombs, and then they figured out fusion bombs, and I think that's what hydrogen bombs are.
Fusion bombs. They made those?
Yeah.
I thought fission was where we stopped our technology.
Fission is splitting the atom.
Fission is very easy to do comparatively to fusion.
right.
I know that much.
Fusion is combining.
I didn't think fusion was possible yet.
Well, no, controlled fusion's not possible.
No.
They can do runaway fusion. That's why fusion bombs are bad. This call could be complete nonsense. I might be making this up, but my understanding is that hydrogen bombs is combining hydrogen into using fusion, and that sets off a gigantic reaction because it's fusion. But they don't. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I don't know. Somebody will tell me. People tell me I'm wrong, even when I'm just making. We're talking about fucking fantasy. This is at least something that somebody can verify.
So now that we know exactly what this nuclear testing was, there's something else I want to bring up before we get into all of this stuff.
All right, James has a thing here. What do you got?
So there was a guy, and oh crap, I don't have his name, but there's a guy on Reddit that I was looking up, and he was incredibly interesting in what he was saying about this.
Okay.
He said that in the secret history of Twin Peaks, there was a reference to something called the Hanford facility.
All right.
And it was an actual place that existed in the United States at the time. During all this time, can you take a wild guess who the president was?
In 1945?
Yeah.
Truman.
Harry S. Truman.
Yeah.
What's the name of the sheriff?
Sheriff Truman.
Frank Truman, his brother being Harry Truman.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I don't know.
Well.
But anyway, he said that a real-life fact is that plutonium used in the construction of the nuclear bomb testing in the Trinity was manufactured at the Hanford site, a nuclear facility in Washington State.
Okay.
And that in order to build the Hanford site, they had to displace an entire tribe of Indians, the Nez Perce, of which Hawk is the Nez Perce, of which the logo at the bottom of the bathroom stall, Nez Perce, led him to what was missing to solve the log lady's riddle. And he said that when they were forced off of their site, the leader of the Nez Perce, Chief Joseph, said that there would be a reckoning.
Okay. So the also known as the Nez Perce.
You know what Nez Perce means?
New born.
It's French.
Yeah, I know.
Pierced nose.
Oh, that was my next guess. Pierced nipple.
Yeah. And then the final thing that was really, really interesting what this guy said is probably most likely bullcrap. But what he wrote here...
Well, maybe don't call it bullcrap. Maybe it's just say speculative and possibly unconfirmed.
Okay, here's his exact words. He says,
right.
But the most interesting thing of all is exactly where Hanford is located. Its geographical coordinates are 46, 35, 01 north, 119, 23, 16 west.
Okay.
46, 35, 01. The first digit from each one of those is 430.
Yeah.
The second coordinate has 119 in it. The drugged out mother saying 119.
119.
And what is Mr. C looking for? Coordinates.
Coordinates, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, the 119 is really compelling. The 430 is somewhat compelling.
It's all a bit of a stretch, but here's the coolest part of it for me, though.
All right, hit me.
Apparently, I think it's The Secret History of Twin Peaks, there's a 2-page spread, and the picture of the Hanford facility falls on page 119.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's amazing.
So...
Was that on purpose, you think? Like some
I don't
master...
know. I sure as heck wish I got this guy's name so I could credit him.
I feel like you and I are Tom Hanks from Dan Brown books. You know what I'm talking about? The Da Vinci Code?
Sure.
We're figuring it all out here,
But
everybody.
I will find out what that guy's name is, because he did a lot of legwork on that one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. You find out that he does deserve to have his name. It's a Reddit thing there that you're looking at.
Yeah.
You're not, but your point is you're not claiming that as your own.
Oh, heck no.
Insights. All right. So can we keep going here, James? We got to blow up some stuff.
Let's do it.
9, 8, 6. They skipped 7 in the things. 5, 4, 2. Where 1? Radio static clicks, and then fuck human beings have become masters of their own demise. Look at this.
I love that the soundtrack was actually, a song about the victims of Hiroshima.
Of the victims. Oh yeah, that's right. Look at that. So what are these things?
Or Hiroshima. I don't know how to correctly say that.
Streaks. I was curious about that. Did they fire off like sensor equipment or something before they like? What is that?
If I even claim to know the mechanics
I'm
of
sure
how a nuclear blast
there's a lot
works,
goes on
I
in
would
these explosions.
Yeah,
and
they talking out my butt.
So there's like aerial explosions where they can maximize human death by blowing it up above a city, but these early tests, my understanding was that they put them on like big platforms or underground in
people have one question that I had many years ago that I researched was why in the world are people able to survive in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, I don't know which way is right, and yet Chernobyl is still uninhabitable. And the answer is simple, because a nuclear bomb, when it's dropped, or an atomic bomb, detonates in the atmosphere above the ground. So the radiation dissipates and spreads out.
Okay.
In Chernobyl, it was a nuclear core reactor that was in the earth that basically contaminated the groundwater, the soil. It's basically embedded into the earth.
Okay.
So that doesn't go away so quickly.
I see. So in other words, when you blow up a nuclear bomb above a city, you're doing everybody a favor by letting the nuclear waste or nuclear radiation dissipate.
I'm sure it's a
so
lot
it's really
more...
it's a loving...
Right. I'm sure it's a lot more complicated than I just laid it out. But, that's my general understanding.
And the fact that human beings have invented these fucking things is absolutely gobsmacking, because some stupid country's going to elect a maniac to their leadership, and and I'm not... Oh boy, we're in trouble.
And what does this image, this black and white image of an explosion remind you of?
When my parents had sex when I was conceived.
No, we got past the Big Bang.
Oh, the Big Bang. That was more like the soft bang.
Yeah.
The little bang. I've seen my dad's dick. It's tiny, just like mine.
Great.
Well, I don't know. You tell me what the answer is.
The giant picture of a black and white mushroom cloud behind Agent Gordon Cole's desk.
Oh yeah. Every FBI agent has that on their wall. But one thing that I noticed is it's the shockwave. So this thing is just like flying out at whatever speed it's going, just destroying everything in its path. But this whole shot was really beautiful. Just the way it was filmed, the pace, the camera control. It was just one thing. But I just was really compelled by this whole sequence.
Yeah.
And it just looked great, and it was scary, and not scary like when a guy goes rawr, but more just like, oh my god, this fucking planet is doomed.
Makes me wonder if Lynch might be up for an award for this sequence.
Well, maybe. Or his special effects team should be, because this is not obviously filmed at the live scene. I think they
It took them 3 takes to get this right.
Yeah, they blew up a small country before they got it right. But yeah, man, it was just really cool. I just thought it just was like, wow, this is really neat. I was really enjoying it. And then it kind of cuts into this sort of like smoky, milky kind of smoky stuff flying around. And so all of a sudden, we're just lost in this maelstrom of particles and fog and gas and dust or whatever the hell.
And the sound effects that you're hearing is like these like piercing, screeching sounds, and it's almost like what we're seeing is a visual representation of the sound that we're hearing, because sound is so important to Twin Peaks.
It could, definitely.
Every single place we are, like the phonograph, the scratching, the noises, the distant hums and so forth.
Right.
Very
and relevant. It's cutting, and it's like sort of like almost like a almost like you're filming through a telescope, or not a microscope. It felt like you were like inside of a living thing. This is the primordial ooze crap I'm referring to, in the sense of like the early phase of the universe, and still inside certain atmospheres like the sun.
This is what stars. I wrote looks like creation itself.
Sure, yeah, but like particles are just flying around in all directions. Energies are being exchanged in all sorts of different interactions, and it kind of was an interesting. How do you represent that in actual visual film? And it would be something kind of like this, maybe.
That you mentioned that.
How do you know?
You know why I like that you mentioned that?
It was all very well chosen, though. I thought it was interesting, kind of like these big flamey clouds, and then this whole sequence here. Am I jumping ahead here, or did you have more to say back?
Well, yeah. Well, what you were saying about like atoms and things like that, about molecules and things bouncing around. In that same scene above the convenience store, there was a line of dialogue where Mrs. Tremond, who is the older woman who has the younger grandson, who's also an entity of the lodge.
Everybody knows who Mrs. Tremond is.
Yeah, basically what happens is that the first woodsman says, we've descended from pure air. The man from another place, being Michael J. Anderson, the little dude, says, going up and down, intercourse between the two worlds. Bob says, light of new discoveries. And then Miss Tremond says, why not be composed of materials and combinations of atoms?
There you go.
So there's a subtle reference to that in some capacity.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of about we are made of tiny things called atoms that are also themselves made of smaller things,
Right, 'cause
quarks and different other levels of smallness.
Yeah. So it's almost as though this is the birthing, the genesis of the entities that we come to know and associate with the Lodge.
Yeah, that's as good a theory as any. And so then we're flying through kind of, we're hearing like boom, like these sort of things going. And this made me think of stars igniting almost, like gases collecting into sufficient enough density to ignite nuclear fusion, which is what is at the center of all stars.
Is that what you've been working on all this time with your farts?
Yeah, that's what my farts are for. That's why I hold my fart up to my doppelganger's farts. We're trying to fuse together and create
like two use a Naruto Rasengan.
Evil Hank. Evil
If
Hank.
anyone gets that reference, I
Actually, my doppelganger is named Good Hank. I'm the evil. What were you saying? I totally talked over you.
No, that was a terrible nerdy reference to an anime, so I'm not going to go there again.
To an anime?
An anime.
Wow.
But what did you say immediately after that?
That my name is Evil Hank.
Did you see the comment I left on the video today?
No.
I said the good Hank is in the lodge and he can't get out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good Hank out there somewhere. He's got hair and a girlfriend, and he's got he's got a laser disc player, and he's got a car that has air conditioning, and
Nice.
he can afford dinner. He's having a great life. All right, so there's all these different things, and just I don't know what to say.
Koyaanisqatsi and Powaquatsi, or
oh yeah, I was gonna say that.
yeah, this is very just visually moving.
What the hell are you talking about?
There are movies that have no dialogue to them. They're a series of images and colors and sounds that's supposed to basically culminate into creating an emotion rather than telling a story. I mean, it does kind of tell a story in the interconnected relationship of the different images, but it's a very metaphysical art piece.
Yes, yeah, totally. I mean, you're not gonna get the same story as a man and a woman going, "I hate you, I love you," but you're gonna get like, "Oh, look, colors and stuff." Yeah. But it was compelling. It was well done. Like David Lynch is a master filmmaker. He's a upper level. He's a top tier guy. He's like he's the Grey Goose of filmmaking. That's somebody who doesn't understand it at all. Explosions rumbling and just things are going on, and then it cuts back to black and white and sort of these flame things, and then all of a sudden now we're at some gas station.
Some gas station?
Well, I mean, yeah, some gas. As far as I could tell,
some gas.
It went from this to a gas station. What is this?
Some gas station? Okay, my interpretation of this is that in Fire Walk with Me, we know that the entities of the Lodge.
Do you want to share your interpretation before I show everything, or wow?
Well, it relates to exactly what we see right here.
Okay.
So you can keep going.
That's what I'm asking. Should I keep pushing?
Yeah, keep pushing.
All right.
So apparently these entities. Remember I told you about the two woodsmen who were in the room above the convenience store?
Yeah.
I believe this might be the original convenience store, and a second edition was added on to it at a later point in time.
Oh, okay.
But because of their genesis, because this creation of pure human rage and violence and destruction was able to birth these creatures, and they came out right in this area, their natural habitat became this gas station.
Okay.
And that's why we see in another couple shots, as you keep going along, we're going to see the Woodsmen emerge.
Hey, you think when Al Gore goes to a store and it's out of the way, he goes, "An inconvenient store"?
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But we see them kind of like congregating here and gathering here and
wandering around is what it looked like. They were randomly moving in different directions.
Yeah. Like they don't really know their purpose. They're teleporting all around. But as this goes further along, we see them appear indoors as though they move in.
Okay. So wait. Okay. So let's get this. Let's try to put some linear explanation. So the door opens, the smoke comes out, and then they come from the outside and go in, or they come from the inside to the outside?
I feel like they come from the outside and then make their way inside.
Work on their getting inside. I mean, I can see how they would have filmed this. They had the camera locked down. They had a bunch of people and walking around, and they edited it all up. And,
filming is the easy part.
Oh, I know.
Understanding
I'm a professional video, so I'm always thinking when I'm watching everything. I'm just thinking in terms of how would you have edited that.
I know. I've got a film degree. I think the same way.
I know. I'm not saying that. I'm not
calling me a Philistine.
No.
How dare you?
No. It's not. Everybody loves Phil Collins.
They got to the scene, and then they took them like 10 hours to go through and paint everything gray and white and black. And then they started taking a bunch of Polaroids, and then they linked them together.
Right. But I can't not think about editing when I'm doing this because I've been in editing almost every day for the last 4 years. So
I agree with that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of mouse clicks going on in this creation here, production. So yeah, plus they have a light over here because you could tell because the shadows are pointing away from the light. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how much I know about filmmaking.
And so some people online were saying like, oh, these are the victims of the explosion of the nuclear blast. Like, no, there were no victims. I mean, there were victims. There was just some guys getting high out in the desert, not realizing it was a nuclear test site. But no, these people, no, I do not prescribe to that.
Well, I don't think that. I think they cleared the testing areas pretty well, but they definitely did testing and then had soldiers like, okay, your job is to walk into the smoke, boys, and see what happens.
There have been some like horrific scenes, like people in aircraft carriers who were within the range of that thing, not knowing what that was in the distance,
right?
And who died of horrible cancers and
that's what I'm saying. Like the early years of the testing, they were. That's how they figured out that it fucks you up, is that some poor schmucks got their skin melted off.
Yeah, but I don't think that there was like a school bus driving across the desert of a lumberjack convention, and they're like, hold on, took a wrong turn.
Yeah, there was a couple of scorpions that were like, turned into scorpion
these
powder.
are like the foot soldiers of evil and malice.
Yeah.
That came into being when either a hole was ripped between dimensions by the explosion, or the explosion was the pure embodiment of malice, and it created them.
Sure, yeah. Man, those nuclear explosions, they're beautiful, and they're as terrifying as, they're more terrifying than they are beautiful. Like, they're so scary. So, but yes, so in other words, they do embody malice. They do embody like unregulated, a power that no one should have at all. Yeah, and it's so horrible that we've infected
what I should say as well, though, is that I said that I believe this to be the genesis of Bob and of the evil beings of the Lodge, but we know that the Lodge existed far, 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 far before 1945.
Right.
This was an important cultural, folk tale and religious and thing about with the Indian tribes in there.
What was?
The Lodge.
Oh. Within the Twin Peaks lore.
Yeah.
Not some other Indian tribe.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know enough about Indian.
Yeah, it'd be weird if it was like one Indian tribe on the North American continent that was like, so the Lodge, it's got this red curtain and this floor, and there's gonna be a guy who's short, he dances, and there's a tree with a coconut on top of it.
Now the Lodge is just the name of the casino.
Yeah, the Silver Mustang Lodge.
Yeah. But anyway.
Okay, so these guys, whatever the hell they are, right, well, I think they're like dispatched though. I think, like you said, like the Lodges existed. These forces are elemental. They go back much further than 1945 or whatever.
I think that they come and they inhabit the Lodge. I think the Lodge was pre-existing, and I think there were entities in the Lodge, and I think these guys are the newcomers.
Oh, they're newcomers, but it's okay because this is the Lodge.
No,
that's what I'm saying though. Like, so they're not from the Lodge.
No,
they're okay.
But they come to inhabit it. We'll find out more later on. Let's just keep pushing.
All right. I think I have earwigs. All right, so static sputtering continues, and then and so they're just changing different like filming effects. So now they're just fucking around the focus, and they're going in and focus, out of focus, and then just editing in the light focus. Like these two balls here are related to these two here, right?
What's the concept when you go in and out of focus?
A rack.
Yeah, you knew it. God darn it.
Is neophyte the right word? I'm a self-taught filmmaker guy. I'm one of those idiots that just like that Googles everything and just looks it up. But so I don't have any formal. All I know is I'm right. That's all I know.
You ever play with rack focus on the side of a camera, that big dial?
Yeah, of course. I'm a cameraman for fucking productions.
You got to put like little marks on it to make sure that when someone steps on the mark that you hit the exact spot. So you don't go out of focus and then go back in. It's really freaking hard.
Yeah, and
there's mechanical rack focus
that stop it too. Like you can set those things. I've never really screwed. Those are what DPs do, directors of photography. So, all right. So, but anyway, we're getting closer.
And now they're inside.
Yeah, we're moving closer and finally getting kind of indoors and ominous atmospheric music, electrical scratching. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden there's this thing, and it's some sort of humanoid-shaped, faceless person. I get a female vibe. Yeah, a little bit.
You've seen this before.
What do you mean seen it before? I have?
The glass case?
I can't see it really though. It's so dark.
No, remember the white creature that was moving out of the glass box and killed the Sam and Tracy, I think their names were?
Oh, in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I miss Tracy.
And people...
And Sam.
I think that's what their names were. But people also refer to this as Mother.
Okay.
And why would they call it Mother?
Because she's got boobs?
Well, okay, sure.
Yeah. That's why I call my mom Mother. I call her Titty Mom.
Remember I think people call it the Mauve Room, the place in the lodge where Cooper visited, where they had that big purple sea around it, and he went in and there was the one with the melted eyes, and then he goes up to the top and then she gets flung off into space when she pulls the lever, and then he goes back down and there's, was it Ronette Pulaski or Ronette? She's the girl who was with Laura Palmer when Laura Palmer was killed and she escaped and got away.
Okay.
And that's the actress playing. She's credited in the credits as American Girl.
Okay.
But she's there, and there's banging at the door, and she says something like, don't be quiet, Mother will hear you.
All right.
And they think this malevolent, powerful creature to be feared, this banging on the side of the other side of the door, is Mother, which they assume is this creature.
This creature here.
So
all
it's
right.
lovingly referred to as Mother.
Okay, cool. There, all right. Well, hey, there you go, guys. Looking at Mother here. She's and then she just like vomits up or just sort of spews out this big torrent spray of. This is the world's weirdest super soaker here, and just all this goo and whatever.
You know what it reminded me of?
It looks amazing though. Like, I thought the effect looked great.
It reminded me of like the effects from the original Poltergeist.
Okay, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't remember. I just remember the guy in the swimming around in the graves with the skeletons.
The guys? That was the mother.
Well, I don't know. It's the weird little lady, the tiny woman.
No,
with the fat head that looked like Mrs. Potato Head. With
Zelda.
I don't know, the poltergeist.
I have the power.
Yeah, that one.
No, she did not. She was not.
Craig
the one...
T. Nelson was in that movie. Best Craig T. Nelson movie of all time.
That was Zelda Rubinstein. She's dead now. She was awesome.
You killed her?
Yes. Well, the person that was swimming around in the pool, I can't remember the actress's name, but it was the woman who played the wife in the show. And the funny thing about that was that they did not tell her at the time that she was shooting that scene that the skeletons that were in the pit were actually medical skeletons. They were real skeletons.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
They were real
They
human?
completely didn't... I mean, they were cleaned up. They were used for medical purposes. They weren't actually exhumed bodies or anything like that. People who had donated the body to science...
Did she know... When did she find out?
I think there's an interview or something where she found out after the fact and she was not pleased.
Yeah, that would upset me a little bit. I'd be like, we motherfuckers. But why does that change, though? Why does that make your... Like, it's funny that knowledge... So she goes through this thing, she does the scene, she rolls around with a bunch of really realistic movie skeletons.
Yes.
Then later, and so she's probably maybe she's actors go through some Trump like emotional. They have to deal with their emotions in ways most people don't because they're fucking around with their own emotions. And I'm not saying it's always happening, but she probably had a certain sense of peace about that scene because of what happened. But then she finds out that they're real skeletons, and all of a sudden it conjures up a whole other set of emotions. Which is it's just interesting that our minds work that way, that we can create drama based on knowledge, which is all meaning based on just intangible information that has nothing to do with anything.
I have much less sympathy because I would basically go on a slip and slide through a bed of rabid scorpions for $20, and yet she's just like flailing around with some bones and some muddy water for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Screw her.
Why is your part of your example how much you would be willing to like demean yourself for such a low amount of money?
Because she should be playing in muddy water with real skeletons was a privilege.
Okay, I got you. You're saying like it's an acting role, big like I'm not saying
suck it up.
No, like when like this actor lost weight for the role. Yeah, give me $3 million or give me $15 million.
Your only job is to go to the gym.
Go to the gym
with a personal trainer and a dietitian living with you.
Yes, with chefs and dietitians and personal and you get to be fucking famous and get to bang anybody you want pretty much. Yeah. Okay, I'll lose weight in 6 months. Ooh, big fucking deal. It's impressive when poor people lose weight. Because they have jobs and they have a hard life, and they don't have That's what should be on the fucking news. Not when Brad Pitt gets skinny or Christian Bale.
Tangent.
All right, sorry, tangent. All right, so then we got this thing here. I wonder how they did this. I just really like this whole stuff. It just looked good.
It's fruit jello.
Fruit jello, yeah.
In black and white.
There's grapes and cantaloupes and little pieces of pears.
This is David Lynch throwing up.
Yeah. His wife finds this in the bathroom every morning. That's David Lynch's Garmonbozia, basically.
Yeah. So we see the stream of slime, and out of it is the same cancerous black orb with Bob's face on it that we saw before.
Because it was so dark when I watched it, as we saw earlier here, I didn't see it earlier. So this is my first time seeing it here, and I was like, oh, that's Bob's face in this ball thing. I saw it.
This is the birth of Bob.
So Bob is being born out of
and it almost looks like there's little egg things in there, too.
Okay, yeah, it could be those little egg things. Yeah, that'll come up later. All right. Okay. It'd be funny if it was like a soy sauce packet.
And there's the egg again.
That's very eggy, yeah. I thought it was a potato the first time I saw it.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, but it's just because I'm stupid. So more things, and then we get back to this. so some sort of birthing sequence. Boom! Intense discordant music, explosions, and real crazy, man. And then finally, there's something coming out of the middle here, which is okay. We got kind of
like a drop of liquid gold or something.
Yeah, kind of an undulating blob.
Which is interesting because we've seen this whole like alchemical thing in the past, like Dougie being composed of, being a construct out of like a brass ball.
Yeah.
Like Philip Jeffries apparently being some sort of construct out of silver, possibly.
Sure.
So this being like the whole creation thing, like a base metal, like an alchemical reference.
Yeah.
This could very easily be another person we know.
This could be like a life formed out of the like a dewdrop out of
Yeah.
the mists of time. Who am I, Neil deGrasse Tyson? Fuck yeah, I am.
Did you say Neil deGrasse?
Neo? He should be Neo deGrasse Tyson.
He's the one.
He is I love that guy. I love every podcast appearance of his. I like. Plus he's good. I like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I think he would like name his son Mo.
Mo
deGrasse Tyson. And his other son's name is Tyson.
Yeah, and one of his other son's name is Weed.
Yep.
And Fertilize. And don't fuck your girlfriend on. Get it?
Sure.
All right, so Hendrix, there's more of the Hiroshima sad music, and then this is just red stuff flying at us.
It was like a star field almost, but it was like flying through a vein or through blood or through plasma or something like that. It was kind of fit well in the... Because the last thing we saw was like Bob's birth, and now we're seeing something that looks like a birthing...
Or the other interpretation is that the camera is actually still, but these particles are moving against the camera.
Could be,
But that's the nature of motion, is that it's relative. We don't really actually... really doesn't matter. So there it is, and boom, okay, stuff's flying around. Now we get waves lapping.
This is... The last time we saw this kind of place was in the Mauve Room.
Mauve Room. That's where Cooper was on that like balcony, and he's looking out
precisely
onto this big wave, empty ocean sort of looking thing. And that's, I think that's where my mind went when I saw these.
Yeah, waves. It was one of the most. It was pretty beautiful scene.
I liked it. No, yeah, I thought it had a cool. Because they've already done a good job of bringing us out of our planet, like all this crazy shit we've been watching. We're like, oh, so now we're just in some weird other realm.
Have you ever heard how David Lynch says you're supposed to watch his stuff?
I assume high as fuck.
Okay, he didn't say that, but he says...
Be high as fuck, like I am, all the time.
Drink a drop of my blood.
I'll pee in your mouth. Then he smokes one of his hairs.
Well, basically he says you should put headphones on to hear it very loudly and get your face as close to the screen as you possibly can so that you will be more likely to be pulled into the world he's created.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, minimize distractions. That makes sense. So then we approach this sort of islandish looking thing. There's waves lapping and splashing and wind whooshing. We climb up. The camera moves up towards this cool metal fortress building, office tower, whatever. This would be a hard commute. I bet parking here is really annoying. Well, maybe they got an underground garage or something. It's probably not too bad. Atmosphere calm. Is that metal, James? Are we looking at metal or shiny concrete? You tell me.
I've got a little bit of a theory as to what this is.
Okay. Hit me. This is the command center.
Could it be the...
Are we flying into a hole here? Is that what that is? Or is that the monolith from 2001?
No, that's a little window.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go out and take a stab in the dark and say, I think this is the White Lodge.
Oh, the White Lodge. Okay, so do you want... Okay. You want to expand on that? Or I don't see why you should, but...
The reason I think the selling point for me... Actually, it'll become more apparent as we go through the scene. I don't want to spoil anything, but the first thing that I see is something that stood out.
Well, hold on. Is there anything about the exterior that you wanted me to go back to is what I'm asking?
Not exactly. The fact that it was a white exterior, that it was in the middle of this ocean, that it was deep within the lodge itself.
I'll back up a little bit.
It's more about what's inside the building that makes me think this is the White Lodge.
All right, so we'll go to the inside of the building. Now we have about 20 minutes of this woman sitting here doing nothing. While this thing, which we've seen one of these before.
Exactly. It's a Dalek from Doctor Who. No. But we saw it again. It was in the same area. It's clearly some sort of electrical conduit. It made me think that this is maybe some way that the beings of the White Lodge travel via electricity from one dimension to another. There's the phonograph and everything, but yeah. This was the one where the woman with the melted face, as we tend to call her, pulls the lever and gets electrocuted and flung off into space.
Yes, and then the head of Dr. Briggs comes by. Major General Briggs.
Major Garland Briggs.
Major Garland Briggs. Okay, so...
And we have this Victorian lady sitting on the couch, not really doing much of anything. Just listening to a phonograph.
She doesn't seem particularly stressed, but she also doesn't seem super comfortable. I wasn't sure what to make of this lady.
And this is going to sound really stupid, but I was wondering, is this like the afterlife for some people? Imagine that you were put into a situation like this and you sat there for 200 years. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you eventually get to the point where you just wouldn't respond to anything, where you'd just be catatonic?
Yeah, not if I got to wear that dress. She's gorgeous.
It's almost like she's
I've always wanted to be pretty.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah. Keep doing sit-ups.
Yep.
Keep going. Keep talking, James. I interrupted.
Well, no, the important thing happens when another figure emerges from behind that device that we're about
we want
to
me to
see.
get to that.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we're trying to get
So
to.
he took his time, though. I mean, this everything here was just like slow and taking its time, and oh god, and then all of a sudden, look who it is! It's Lurch,
It's the giant.
the giant.
And it's always been assumed that the giant is a creature of the White Lodge.
Yeah.
He always appears with a humming sound, with a bright light behind him in a lot of cases.
Alarming, clanking, continuing.
Yeah, he's always giving Cooper advice. He's always, he's a helpful, peaceful entity.
Right. He does seem to have a gentle giant
Yes.
demeanor of him.
And the fact that we see him here, and the last time when we first saw the giant in the series, he was sitting in a chair with Cooper next to the phonograph. And I'm wondering if that was the White Lodge, that Cooper was there in the White Lodge with him, that he was a guest at the time.
Because of the phonograph, or just because of him?
Because the giant was there and the phonograph was there.
Yeah. I don't know. Could be. Maybe they got 2 phonographs. They probably got money.
But what he did was, at the end of that scene, the giant says something like, "You are very far away." And then Cooper disintegrates and disappears, as though it was only a projection of himself that was in the White Lodge because he was trapped in the waiting room.
Oh.
He could only visit there briefly.
Okay. All right. Well, so okay.
And that's when he tells him the whole 430 original Linda 2 birds with 1 stone riddle.
Yeah.
But anyway, he walks over to the conduit
Turns
thing.
off the thing, hits the button, and then just goes back to being behind the thing. What the hell? Does he just stand there? Is he standing behind it, or does he disappear?
He's about to go up some stairs.
Is there some steps?
Yes, there's some steps.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think
See,
you can...
steps.
Right there?
Steps.
Yeah. All right, there's some steps. But I was just thinking, like, it'd be funny if, like, that's where he just hangs out. Like, he just stands here, and she just sits there, and then every once in a while he comes around the corner. All right, so then he walks up these steps. I thought the shot was very well composed. I enjoyed this shot here,
This
where
is,
it tilts up.
I forget the name of the place, but this is actually like an opera house, or not an opera house, it's a theater somewhere out in Los Angeles.
Oh, is it?
And that Lynch has used it on multiple occasions for other projects as well.
Okay. Yeah, other ways to piss off his friends by testing their politeness or tolerating his fucking crazy work.
And you get to the top here, and it looks like there's another one of those same conduits up there.
Yeah, here on the right. You mean. Yeah. Now, I also thought that this carpeting looked like the waves. This was very reminiscent of that purple wave landscape.
I didn't even think of that, but I like it.
I don't know if it means anything. Could be bullshit. Could not be. Who knows? So then it's this like kind of movie projection screen here, and he holds his hand up and sets it up, and now we start seeing stuff we've already seen in this episode. We're watching,
but this is something he hasn't seen.
Right? He's reviewing. Well, we assume that. We don't know that for sure. It's not.
It's almost as though he is an ancient being that has been in the White Lodge all this time, and he has seen basically evil rain down onto Earth.
Like he's getting a report. Like
he's seen the genesis of evil.
This is TPS report.
Yes, and he realizes that as a being of good, he has to do something to restore balance, to counteract this new presence.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
There's good old Bob.
There's gold... Wait, what did you call him?
Good old Bob.
Good old Bob. I thought you said Gold Bob.
No.
Yeah, so he's watching all this stuff. He pauses it right there because that's obviously the threat that we're supposed to tune into. And then he just floats up into the sky or into the air a little.
We have ascended...
Ascended by air, huh?
From pure air.
From pure air, or descended from... And then she comes down, and there's a spotlight following her, which was interesting. Oh, this thing's taller than a... Okay, all right. So she walks over, and there it is, and she doesn't...
But it's almost as though
So he's laying back now. Like he's
almost as though he's a body in a tomb. As though he's sacrificing part of himself symbolically to
lying in state?
Give rise to a greater power, something that can confront Bob.
Sure, but I don't think he didn't die here.
No, he doesn't die there, but
right.
It's almost as though he is diminishing himself. He is giving of himself something that can rectify what he's seen.
Or it's I don't think it's not like he just decided to go to sleep. He's doing something that requires him to go into this state of mind, the state of focus, right? So all right, so then she walks up and she just kind of looks, and then it turns, and then suddenly the music becomes nice, like here, serene, serene atmospheric music, and I noticed that this little light was sort of hovering above his face, sort of thing. I was seeing that, like you can see it in this shot. Even there, it's a little small, so it starts there.
And it's kind of the same color as that yellowish fog that emerged into the sky that shot up when Carl was watching the little boy die in the intersection when he was hit by Richard. Oh
yeah,
Horn.
That was like a yellow kind of color.
Yeah, like the escape sort of his soul. But it's almost like this is like the Giant's version of creation.
But she just kind of watches it, and all right, so his mouth's not open, but it's all coming out of his face, and it's like, I mean, the obvious read is this is sort of stellar, like stars, cosmological sort of dust and stars and gas clouds and stuff.
We know that the evil entities feed on Garmonbozia, which is pain and suffering and fear and all the negative emotions. And it makes me wonder if this guy feeds on positivity, and that he's relinquishing his stored energy of such stuff in order to create another being.
Kind of like Candyman.
Yeah.
Not at all. That guy spits bees. Yeah. So what do you think do you think he's releasing extra energy to counterbalance what he just witnessed? Like this is his response to...
He is creating something to counteract the creation of evil that he just witnessed.
So this is the equivalent of like sending the cops or the ambulance or the firefighters. It's like, woo, woo, woo. Yeah. We got trouble. Send out some positive vibes, everybody.
It's like where you see like a really evil-looking baby born, and you immediately run out and try to have a good baby.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I do. I see an ugly baby, and I go try to have sex with every woman I can find.
When you see Zod land on Earth, and you say, "Oh no, we're sending baby Superman."
Zod. No, I just see an ugly human baby, and I'm just like, hey, woman on the sidewalk, you want to go have some sex? We gotta fight this ugly baby with our attractive baby. Just kidding. My DNA will never reproduce because it's tarnished and terrible, and I'm determined to end my lineage as best I can. Don't worry, my brothers have been reproducing at a rapid clip. Everybody, there's going to be plenty of fucking Thompsons running around this fucking planet for the next... Probably not. Well, we are pretty charming, actually, now that I think about it. So, speaking of charming, James, when a little charm tip for you when you're at a restaurant, and the waitress comes up and says, "Hey, you need a doggy bag?" You pat your belly, and you go, "I already brought one." Everybody will laugh. The waitress will laugh, or waiter, if you go to expensive restaurants. And yeah, there you go.
And then she walks away, and you're like, "But I actually do need one."
Yeah, and then you go,
and then you realize you sacrificed your one chance at the doggy bag for a joke.
Then you puke into your hand, and you try to give it to her in the parking lot when she's done with her shift. All right. Well, that got creepy. Okay, so she's just looking at it and going, "Oh, this is fucking crazy. I can't believe this is where I work." All right, so there he is. It's starting to form shapes. I don't know.
Yeah, very celestial looking.
Yes, and especially with the kind of the way this whole old-timey type theater, some sort of balcony here with a bunch of carvings and stuff. Why would I even try to comment on that? But then emerges from it this ball, this gold undulating blob of gold space stuff. Like is this the only intention of his thing? Is this a side effect of his thing? Is he also up to other stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
this is the purpose.
Is this just the placental remnant of this, or is this probably? I guess maybe that's just the purpose. Okay, so it flies off and it kind of gets close to the camera. Woo! Oh, and she comes over to her, and by the way, she's wearing a little bit too much eyeliner. Not that I should be judging anybody's appearance.
That's how the beauties of film and the limelight era did.
What was she trying to be, a fucking raccoon? Come on, looks like she's got lipstick around her eyes as much as her lips.
It's Trash Panda.
Yeah, makeup is crazy. It's weird that we just like paint ourselves, women more than men by a lot, but it's fucked up that we do that. I think women without makeup are beautiful. I tell them that all the time. Hey, take off your makeup. You're hot. And
you just splash water in their face randomly. Go, ha!
Splash water. I spray them with 409.
Yeah. Super soaker.
Yeah, like those guys that wipe the windshields of cars. I do that. No, that's not. That's
the windows roll down. You just squeegee in their face.
All right, so she grabs the ball. Interesting. Okay, so
I mean, that's a really pretty shot right there.
It's a cool looking shot. Yeah, it has. It actually evokes sort of the old timey. Like Flash Gordon space adventure type of stuff, which was parodied very well in Star Trek Voyager, by the way. They did a good job of that. So she's looking at this thing. I mean, is she imbuing it with any of her?
And this shot right here ruined the episode for me a little bit.
Oh, no, why?
What does it mean to you?
Laura Palmer has a big-ass brass ball?
If what they're going for is that Laura Palmer was some sort of being constructed in the lodge to fight and do battle with Bob, to stop Bob in his pursuits, then I've got issues. Because the whole thing that made Laura Palmer fascinating, that made her story tragic, is that she was representative of humanity. She was just a normal person who had the ability to sacrifice herself rather than become a vessel for an evil entity that had claimed many people before her.
Okay.
That was her strength, that was her legacy. And if they try and take that away by saying that she was some sort of super being that was constructed who was a construct for a certain purpose, then that robs her of a lot of her innocence, a lot of her,
Well, why can't both be true? Why can't she be born from what we're assuming are the giant's positivity fountain, right? She's born of that as a response to the appearance of all this evil. So hold on. So why can't she be born to be from all this positivity, but also represent what you described about being a regular person who gets caught up in that world? Because her death, that's why her death is tragic, because it's like when a baby dies, it's the death of the innocent that is sad. It's not sad when a 90-year-old dies. It's a fucking relief, to be honest. I mean, it's a little sad, but you're like, oh, great, they made it. But like when a young, like she was an innocent death. Blonde white chick. Headlines, hello, Fox News, come on. 1998.
Yeah, you dip your toe a little bit too deep into the whole Jesus allegory at that point, because
that's what I like girls to think.
But you think about it, it's like, toe. Why would you send your creation down to Earth knowing that they're going to be brutally murdered as a martyr?
Yeah, it's a mean thing to do to your son, especially if you are also your son, and at the same time a ghost.
And that's another reason why I don't want this to be what they're going for, because that seems so below Lynch.
But did they know that she was going to be killed? Maybe they didn't.
He had to have.
Why?
Because time is not a linear function for these creatures.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't understand fully that what he birthed out of his mouth positivity vomit, that he didn't fully understand the scope of the fight ahead of him, so he didn't produce something strong enough to stand up to it, and it was defeated. Hence, all the other things have to gather around to fight him off, like the fucking hobbits and the men. And
the force out of the giant seems to me to be a little bit more powerful than that.
That's a fair point. I'm not going to stand my ground on that.
So I'm hoping. Or can it be construed that because time is not a linear construct in the world of the Lodge and so forth, that this is the spirit of Laura after her death that's being pulled back through time to try and change the course of events in 1945.
Right. That could be.
But I'll get more into that as we reveal more.
Okay. So she kisses. I was hoping she would like just jam it in her mouth and just like that, like goes, common bother. She picks up some corn, but no, she just kisses it and sends it on its way. So is this woman? Is her role necessary? And I'm not saying like it's. I think it's not. I'm saying is she like a witness to this event and she just happened to be there and so she got to hold the ball and it meant nothing really other than her own experience, or is she part of this process where it wouldn't work if she didn't give it the kiss of justice or whatever?
You could say this is mother and father, that this is
maybe
the good lodge, the good inhabitants sending forth their being into the world, bidding them farewell.
It would be nice if this was how all parents had sex, though. Like dad just pukes up some shit and then the mom kisses a basketball. That'd be okay. Better than what the truth is, which is just a gross, sweaty night.
Yeah, let's not go there.
They had some weird cigarettes.
Well, you
want to smoke some grass?
Owl ring.
Wow, that drive-in was great. I loved it until the sound broke because it's the fucking 80s or 70s or whatever, and nothing there really works. Nice bell bottoms. Let's take them off and put them on my shag carpet and make some children that are going to be depressed when they're in their 30s. All right, sorry, sorry, James. I'm sorry. Okay, so then it goes up into the machinery of the heavens.
Yeah, and so we can see like gears turning and all sorts of things. To me, this looked like a gramophone.
A little bit.
Almost as though they were within.
Well, I mean, there's this swooping curved tubes and stuff, and that speaks to that kind
There's
of style.
There's something else I wanted to mention before we get too far.
All right.
Is that there is a
Want me
scene.
to back up?
No.
Okay.
There's a scene in the lodge in past episodes. I believe it was, I can't remember if it was season 1 or season 2, but Cooper is in the lodge with the man from another place, and Laura Palmer is sitting across from them.
Mm-hmm.
And the man from another place looks at Laura and says, "She's my cousin." And we thought that was some cryptic riddle at the time, but if she was a construct of a creature in the lodge, just as he was, would that not mean that they are quite literally related in a sense?
Yeah, I guess it would.
And you know what else Laura says and the man from another place says?
No.
I think they say, where we come from, music is always in the air. Okay. And there is always the phonograph playing, there's always music. She's being sucked up into what appears to be an instrument of music inside a giant gramophone.
Uh-huh.
So that lends credence to her being natively from the lodge.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Judge Judy says
I hate
yes,
it.
says acquitted.
I don't want that to be the truth.
I find for the plaintiff. Good job, James. I like it. Oh, I just want you to be right, James.
but I don't want to be right in
I'm
this
your
case.
biggest supporter, all right? You ever need a ride somewhere, you let me know, too. Cool. Especially if you scratch your cornea like a dog and I got to go get one of those lamps for your head. I'll drive you to the vet. I'll put pills in a hot dog chunk and feed them to you for 2 weeks.
I hate hot dogs.
Okay, then what do you burgers?
Burgers
work. A piece of sausage from a pizza.
That'll work.
All right. And then the thing turns the ball. So the ball goes up the tube, and then the thing. I should be a health teacher teaching kids how babies come from.
Does it not look like some sort of musical implement to you?
Yeah,
the valves and the holes there and the curved bronze.
Yep, the couplings here, and yeah, totally. No, it definitely has sort of like a kind of a horn section type of feeling. Probably because it's a brass colored tube. So, but it's pointed at the earth. This is now the suddenly looks like God is just this is how God spawns, like how bluegills.
Would it be really terrible if the giant accidentally bumps it and it just drops in the middle of Africa or like in the middle of the ocean?
Oh, like his whole head just like he's become like Godzilla, like
no, I mean like they dropped Laura Palmer in the wrong place.
Oh, right. Yeah, she winds up in Antarctica and just dies of hypothermia like real quick. So then it comes out here. Now watch carefully though, because look what it turns into. Now we didn't. It's hard
At first, I thought it was a moon, but it kept going down.
I saw it as it's definitely different. So let's back up because this is going to come up later. So the ball actually changes into it starts to deform, and then it becomes this, which is looks like a coin.
Well, it looks egg-shaped to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely...
From certain angles, eggs are circular, but eggs from other angles are egg-shaped.
I mean, it seems too skinny to be a coin.
What do you mean skinny? It's a coin. It's far away.
It's not circular to me in the way I look at it. It looks compressed like an egg shape.
There's certainly a slight obliqueness to it, I think, but it's...
Could be an artifact of the motion.
There it looks
more circular.
More circular. Okay, but it's also more brass gold colored than. But anyway, and it moves towards the United States because that's where things are happening.
Yeah, and where does it land?
I don't know. Vegas?
No.
I don't know. You tell me.
It looked like South Dakota or something like that. I could be wrong though.
Yankton prison.
Yeah,
she
right
went
in the middle of the prison.
Straight to jail. So, okay, then we cut to another 1945.
But it's going forward.
Yeah, then it ticks up, and it's 51, 52, and it ends, it's 56 here, August 5. So I'm thinking, okay, here, was this going to be another nuclear explosion? And we fly forward and kind of get close, and we see an egg.
So it leads you to believe that because it goes from the falling of this object
from here... Go ahead.
From an egg shape to this, it makes you think this has to be the object that was dropped down because this is a new creature that was being birthed from the lodge. The hatching from the egg is another is literal birth.
Right, and I think that's a rational deduction to assume that's the egg should be that thing, I guess.
Although there were those egg-looking things in that plasma that the mother was spitting out, the evil mother, I should say, that looks just like that. So it could also be construed that this was one of those that dropped out of her primordial mouth barf.
And we're going to see something later that might add further reasons why that might not be the case, why it actually might not be the egg that was the thing. Okay, so anyway, now we're looking at an egg. Little thing comes out of it. This is fucking crazy though. Like this bug crawls out, right?
It's like a frog with wings.
Yeah, it's got like these clumsy, muscular back legs. They kind of, every newborn animal's a little clumsy though. That's the whole point of it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be cute. It starts crawling around. It was well done. I thought it was good effects.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of cool. Like I picture David Lynch having these types of notions in the early 90s and being frustrated by, every filmmaker is limited by the technology that's available.
Oh, he put on the suit and did the motion capture for this.
Yeah, Andy Serkis was supposed to do it, but I'm sure nowadays, like, you can kind of achieve your vision a lot more accurately now. And so I bet he's like, it's kind of cool in a way to see like a brilliant maniac like David Lynch experimenting with more tools than what were available earlier in his career.
Yeah.
So this thing walks off and it leaves a trail in the sand, and it's just sort of a weird wind whooshing with the moon, and now we're at some old timey country area here. Gas station is a different one than that convenience store we saw earlier.
What was the time period at this point?
1956.
1956? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And then these two come out like teens, they look like. Looks like they're on a date. Did you like that song? Yeah, it was great. Oh, yeah. Can we go finger and stuff? So they're walking off. And, oh, this is the part. So she says, oh, look, a penny. And it's heads up. That means it's good luck. And so what I'm saying is that this penny, starring Abraham Lincoln, is that thing that flew down. That is this thing right here. Even though it doesn't look like a penny really at all, but
in that shot it looks like the egg, and that one it looks like a penny.
Well, I don't agree with that necessarily, but okay. Oh shit! There it is. There it is. So I'm saying this person here taking possession of this coin is very significant. I have no idea if this is true. I'm just saying maybe this is Laura Palmer's mom. This young woman is gonna someday get pregnant and then have Laura Palmer. And this is how they have to give birth, because they can't just send a baby. They got to put a baby in a lady's womb. In order to accomplish that, though, they got to put a penny in the road, and then she touches the penny.
I'm 100% convinced that this woman is Sarah Palmer.
Oh, okay.
But
sweet.
But I don't think it for the reasons that you think it. I looked up her bio because as soon as I watched this, I thought that this would be her, and I found out that Sarah Palmer was born in 1945.
Okay.
This being 1956.
So she should be 11.
Yeah, she looks a little old for that.
Yeah, she's a little more. You shouldn't be dating at 11.
Yeah,
you should be at least 12.
Right. But
I started dating at 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I had my first. I paid for an abortion at 5.
Right. So are we to believe that this man here is Leland?
I guess so. I mean, well, now that you mentioned the thing about the ages, though, that does change things a little bit. But maybe she holds on to the penny for a while. Maybe she doesn't get pregnant right away. Probably takes a little while.
I think that there's been a lot of symbolism with the coins in this type of thing. When Richard Horn, the magic man with the coin flipping up in the air, coming down, saying like heads I win, tails you lose, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The concept of luck and chance and 50-50 and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's probably a reference to something else, but I think there's something that happens to the girl specifically at the very end of the episode that plays more into what I think the connection between Sarah Palmer and Laura Palmer is.
Okay. Yeah. And
I don't want to quite say it yet, but we'll get there.
Right. So then, for sure. Now you see a shape. There's somebody running, walking. It's one of those woodsmen types,
descending from pure air.
Down. So this is hard to see, man. Mm-hmm. I was just watching. It was really hard to see. And this guy lands.
Literally descending down, and then we end up with now we're in the car with who? Where the hell are? Oh yeah, this is that couple. That's right. I'm so confused. So they're driving along, and they see this car up ahead, but they slow down. And then there's a guy in the road, and he comes over, and he goes, "Got a light, got a light," deep voice. And it's funny that there's like even these ethereal beings are like smokers. Yeah.
Like they've got like a.
And he looks very similar, like Abraham Lincoln from The Penny.
Yeah, a little with the beard.
Yeah.
What you're tuning into is the lack of mustache.
Yes.
It's that chin beard, which is good because that this is for people who eat a lot of soup and they're thrifty. They don't want to waste any.
Very Amish looking.
A bit, yeah, kind of. Got the cut off gloves. Got the cigarette. Nothing better. Nothing more an ethereal, eternal being needs more than a good nicotine fix. Mm-hmm. You know where I can get some scratcher tickets? Any porno theaters around here? Like he's just like a skeezy old man. Got a light. So, but then another one's there. This is very scary. These two nice ladies. I mean, lady and man, are being accosted by these woodsman maniacs and distorted wail. I feel like this is what the inside of my brain is like. It's just this, just like. Oh.
I mean, the woman on the left reminds me of like the
Drew
typical.
Carey?
No, but like the typical woman drawn in a Gary Larson Far Side cartoon panel.
Yeah, with the old timey glasses.
Yeah. I think that's what does it for me more than anything.
Yeah. Well, they're in that time period there. So, oh no, this guy just keeps staring at him like he's transfixed. He doesn't know what to do. Ominous scratching. It's always going crazy. There's the thing, and then finally he takes off. Like, well, motherfucker, you do that right away. The first time the guy approaches the car, you don't even talk to him. What's wrong with you? You drive off. So now we're back to the teens. What do you got? You got looking up something?
Oh, for that scene?
James is showing me something on the iPad, everybody.
Well, you asked.
Well, I know, but now I got to put it in the video. All right, here's what James.
I wasn't going to show you anything, but you asked.
What?
You stopped me.
Well, now we're talking about it. It's in the show.
No, it was the screenshot from Twin Peaks where it's Michael J. Anderson in the lodge saying, "Where we're from, the birds sing a pretty song, and there's always music in the air."
Yeah.
Which presumably is shortly thereafter, or a similar scene where he references that he is cousins with Laura Palmer.
Oh, okay. Is that related to what we're talking about?
Not at all.
Oh, all right. Well, then I'll take it off the screen.
Okay.
Okay, teens are walking and they're having a nice time, not touching because they're not married. You can't be a sinner until you have married and a priest has told you you're allowed to fuck. So, town, don't you? Yeah, if you're from town, okay, you live by the school. So they're getting to know each other. This is some pretty standard first date stuff. What's your Instagram name and all that other things. Thought you're with Mary. No, I'm not. Are you sad about not being with Mary? Oh, no, okay. So they're pretty, just horny teens. I've been a horny teen before. It was the worst time of my life. Would you mind if I give you a kiss? And she goes, oh, no, I shouldn't. I mean, I have millions of years of evolution telling me I probably should because it's fucking awesome. But my stupid culture has trained me that I'm supposed to protect this shit. I'm supposed to deny my innate instincts. So anyway, she does finally agree because you're supposed to say yes. You shouldn't be kissing, man. Make out. Come on. So she waits for it. He comes in, swoops down. James, kiss me on the cheek.
No, thank you.
Come on. I shaved a spot just open for you.
No,
it's
you
nice
did
and
not.
soft. I shaved your spot. I can't believe women
If
put
that
up
were
with...
actually true, no.
You wouldn't, even if I did shave it, you wouldn't kiss it? I think women putting up with beards, I think women deserve a lot of credit for those beards. I'm saying we have the beards, men, but...
Some women have the beards.
Well, yeah, I know, it's true. But they grow beards in different parts of their body.
Good Lord.
I like those beards, they're fun. But I'm saying, I think that, first of all, thank you for tolerating our fucking mustaches and beards. Mm-hmm. Number two, if you wanted me to get rid of it, I would shave a circle around my mouth so you could have my soft lips without the rough interactions. I'll see you. So it was a nice little moment, though. They had a good date.
She asked, aren't you still going with Mary or something like that? And
well, they already got over that.
Yeah, but she was very clearly showing interest in him.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a fine. This is a pretty standard storybook ending to a country date. We walked her home. We got a little smooch, and then they head off. Yeah, it would be weird if they just started pounding away. What is it?
Children.
It's not a porno.
Jesus.
They're teenagers. Teenagers have sex.
11 years old.
They're not 11. Are we confirming that she's 11?
I'm very solidly convinced that that is
fine.
Sarah Palmer.
Well, if they're 11, I withdraw all my comments. I don't want to be... For some reason, it's not weird if they're 14.
It's societal rules.
I know, but
clearly it's 11 because it says ILL 11. David Lynch put it in there for a reason.
James, it's supposed to say 9.
Yes.
It's supposed to be 9.
91119.
9/11.
You is 91.
And this part says was an inside job.
Yes.
Which is weird because all the videos I've seen looks like it happened outside.
Wow.
All right, so there he goes. Yeah, boom, score, dude.
You see any passing resemblance to Leland there?
I remember my first kiss, James. No, I don't. And my heart raced. It went, started pounding, and then we were at a Six Flags Great America, and the girl she leaned it, and then she goes, I could feel your heart racing, and I was like, yeah, it's because we just kissed, man. What the fuck do you want me to do? Sorry, no, that's all. She was. I think she was flattered by the heart racing. I wish I died. That would have saved me a lot of trouble if I'd fucking just died then. And then I
George Costanza go out on a high note.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out.
I'm out of here. I got what I came for. Yeah. That was my first one, and I've never kissed anybody since then. The only person I've kissed is me in a mirror. All right, so Black Coast, I can't tell it's in that shot. Okay, now we have
one of the Woodsmen approaching a radio tower.
Right, like a radio...
Or a radio transmitter.
Station,
yeah.
Yeah, same thing. And so off he goes, and PJK, I can't see it if there's more to that K. It might be.
It's
Or KPJK. Okay, it's so dark. Okay, so there he goes in, and on air, they're doing a thing, and
You know what that stands for?
PK... Wait, what? This? KPJK?
Yep.
Yeah, it stands for Kill Pajamas Kill.
Keep podcasting. Just joking. Just kidding.
You did pretty good there.
I pretty much messed it up.
You had so much time to think of something, too.
I know.
You let me down!
I didn't. I just thought of it now, because it sucks.
Yeah, it's okay. I get it. You did great. Great. Good job.
You come into my heart.
I'm not going to come anywhere near you, James. You gross. How dare you? How dare you?
Oh God.
Bad enough you've got to feel the apartment building shake when I'm beaten off in my own room.
You make everything so much worse.
Yeah, I do. I know. That's what my mom keeps telling me.
Oh, remember that phone earlier? Yes. It had the DOX and the thing in the middle looked like a record. There you go.
This?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking. Okay, so the record's moving around. There's a guy. This was actually a nice song. It was a man singing, "In my heart you'll stay."
Very bad security at this place, though.
Yeah, it's not locked.
Walks right in.
This was the 50s when they trusted each other.
Yeah, and you're in the middle of the desert. You don't expect walk-ins.
Right. Just the occasional scorpion. And then, okay, so now there's people listening to the radio, guy working on a car, we got a lady cleaning up in a diner, and this is her. She's thinking about that kiss.
She's over the moon.
Over the moon. She's got a little her own bedroom here. No pillow. Oh, there's her pillow. So all right. Oh, look, she's got a bow on her lamp. That's pretty cute. All right, so anyway, guy comes in with this. This is the Woodsman smoker dude, and so we got more music. This lady's doing some filing. She's like a clerk or receptionist or what, she's works there, and he walks right up to her and he goes, "Got a light?" He does ask for a light, right? Yep. But he grabs her head and she got that old timey hair,
and there's this like crunching celery type sound. It's almost like her skull is being crushed in his hand,
right? Like as soon as he's close and then he grabs her, he just has his power and his blood. This is really grim and violent though. It's just like she starts shaking around and there's blood pouring everywhere, and
it was chocolate syrup.
I mean, to be fair, the guy has not had his nicotine in a while.
Yeah. He really needs his fix.
He really is jonesing for a hit. And fucking cigarettes. My mom smoked when she was pregnant, and then in order to get nicotine after I was born, I had to suck milk.
Nice. So what do you think this represents? What's going on?
Oh, well, good question. I don't know. I mean, so let's get to the end and then ask that. I mean, the end of the scene here, and then we'll talk about that, because maybe we'll come up with something. Got a light? But then he goes right into the guy, and no hesitation. It's like their fear makes them powerless or something, or he has some sort of control over them. And immediately he just starts crunching his head, and the music goes off. He turns off the music, and these people are like, oh, well, that's weird. Your radio going staticky, that's a big deal. Something's going on at the station. That's my radio impression. And click, he hits the little switch. So I think that turns it to the microphone. So the dude knows how to run a radio.
Apparently,
I mean, he knows how to engineer.
All evil creatures born of nuclear genesis can do that.
Yeah, whatever it's coming from. So there he is, and he starts talking, gives this kind of command, like anybody. This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and dark within. This is the... So he just repeats it over and over.
You ready to have your mind blown?
James, quit offering. That's gross.
Mind.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was going around on Reddit again, and I was trying to figure out what this could potentially mean, because I wasn't really quite sure myself. I know fire, walk with me, water being the opposite of fire, but what really could it mean? And apparently people searched for this poem, and the closest thing they could find to it was something that was posted a long time before this episode aired, and it's the only reference to this particular poem anywhere out there.
Okay.
And it's kind of hidden. It's at the bottom of this forum, down at the very bottom, and it says, "This is the water and this is the well. Drink full and ascend." Does it say ascend here or ascend?
It's back up. It says descend.
And descend. This one says ascend.
Yeah.
The horse is the white of the eyes and dark within.
Right.
And this was here for weeks and possibly years before this episode
aired. And that's
aired.
at the bottom of what?
Of a forum called commercialsihate.com.
But it's... Well, hold on. Let me explain it. So it's at the bottom of like the web page.
Right.
Like the
it's
list.
Embedded in the HTML.
Yeah.
No, it's at the base of a forum.
Wow, that's weird.
And the thing is that David Lynch made his career early on by directing commercials.
Okay.
And what would give him more hatred in the world than commercials? Because you're creatively constrained. You have to sell a product. You have to tell a narrative based on the whims of a company and an advertiser.
Yeah.
So would it not make sense that perhaps he would be the one to own an old school forum called Commercials I Hate?
It's very possible.
What else could the possible connection be? It's really bizarre.
That is super crazy. So yeah, that's at the bottom. Yeah, look at that. That is so weird.
And ever since that happened, people have kind of been swarming from Twin Peaks onto the site asking... So what's the deal?
Is
this
verified as the first appearance of that phraseology or those words?
That's the only one that staunch fans of the show can seem to find right now.
Because at this point, these words are going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
People writing about it. Wow, weird. And it says ascend, not descend.
Yes. So there is a very slight difference to it.
Interesting. Wow. I have no idea what to make of this. This fucking man. God. Okay, so this is the well. He just keeps doing it, and he's while holding the guy, so he's a good multitasker. Woodsman over radio, and there he is. But now she collapses. Look, James.
Yep.
A play in 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. She's dead. She's gone.
Got it.
See, James? Ah, fuck, it's fucking up. Ah, see? Fucked up. And, yeah, so, but it seems to affect people hearing it. Isn't that terrifying? Could you imagine this is like a fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie all of a sudden? Some guy on the radio is fucking with everybody listening. The Dark Within. This is so. This guy collapses. Although they did the trick where they just played the sound of like, without him showing him fall, and then there he is on the ground. So we also know that the girl was listening. So we're not sure what's going to happen to her. By the way, do you want to talk about what was happening? Because we said I told you to wait till we finish the radio.
Well, let's get to the very end of it.
Oh, the very end. Okay, that's fine too. Didn't want to leave that thread hanging. And then, so now the bug is walking up here, and we've got this thing, and he's got these, like, kind of weird muscly legs, which is very off-putting for a bug. It's already pretty large.
And she as well is listening to this radio broadcast.
Yes.
And it's starting to affect her as well. Now she's falling asleep.
It does seem to knock her out, and there she goes, even without a pillow. She's going to have a sore neck in the morning. Faintly, and then just so now the bug walks up, and it does this thing. It was so gross. It really was good though. Like, look at that thing. It is like a frog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those legs. And into the thing, and now I'm watching this going, oh shit, this is gonna get gnarly here. Whatever's gonna happen. And I was a little. This is where recording the closed caption was a little annoying because the bug kind of got behind it a little bit. So then here he comes. Oh, he's got the little spikes on his legs. That's one of those things that bugs do. That's just like, really, you got to be that gross? Come on,
it's not their
grow
choice.
up. I don't care if it's their choice. So there he comes in, and what were you thinking? You're thinking through the mouth? Or
Obviously through the mouth. Where else are they gonna fit?
He's heading right for him. I mean, he could burrow through a hole. He could just start crawling through her ear, or dive through her chest or her arm or something.
Yeah.
But she like willingly opens her mouth real wide too, and away he goes right into the. I like that he's clumsy though. Like, it's weird. Like, the legs kind of slip around a little bit and sort of. Oh god, what if this is how we ate? What if it's like we just had to just like go to sleep and the animals crawled in our mouth while we slept? Man, or with poop crawled out of your
let's get this scene over with.
Yeah, sorry.
Horrible.
Look at that. So yeah,
let's keep going.
The feet, ugh, look at that. Look at that.
And descend, drink full, and just come on. I don't want to see a tap dancing. It's like a bird's leg. Let's go.
That's hilarious. And then and it goes. Just like when I eat cheesecake.
Okay.
And so swallowing, she does it. And all right, so what the fuck, man? She's being infected by something.
We'll see.
All right, we will see. Yeah, we will see. And this is soft pain gagging. He's hurt. And, okay, crunches. Now he really kills the guy. He's done. So it's like, is it clear that this was his intention? Was her? The
broadcast is over at the moment that it fulfills its purpose.
Yes.
So he no longer needs to put people out. No longer. It's almost as though he is facilitating this creature finding a host.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Though, is like the other people listening that collapsed were just bystander, innocent.
Yes,
They were collateral damage to this,
right.
Because his main purpose was to get her to be in that state so that the bug could get into her.
So I'm kind of torn on this one, because if this egg was what was falling from the White Lodge, that would explain something for me. And what it would explain is that Sarah Palmer appears in season 1 and season 2 to have some sort of psychic abilities. She has some sort of powers that other people don't have. She can see Bob. She can see the horse, the white horse.
Okay.
White is the horse, the horse is the white of the eyes, whatever that thing was saying. But no one else can do that. And it makes me wonder if this little girl is Sarah Palmer, and if this creature is from the White Lodge and it inhabited her as a child in order to later spawn Laura Palmer, who's needed for some other reason, then it would explain why she has these abilities.
Okay.
But on the other side of it, if this is from the White Lodge, why on earth would the evil Woodsmen be facilitating the finding of a host for this thing?
Right.
Why would they not be trying to find it and stomp it out?
Right.
That part makes no sense. And the thing does not look like it looks like a creepy, evil little bug thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like something that's good. It doesn't look like that shining orb that we saw Laura Palmer's face in.
Right, like just on a purely narrative, metaphorical basis, like a gross, messy, weird bug skulking about at night, crawling into you while you're asleep, is not the action of a benevolent force. But but we also like to take benevolent forces, like the Wicked Witch of the West, like in like she shows up in this gold bubble, right? Like she kind of appears, like things like we it's like we do that with but it would be kind of cool, is what I mean. Is like if they took a positive force, but put it in the shape of something gross and weird, which on its face is it's only gross because we find bugs gross. It's only gross because we've sort of evolved to be afraid of bugs because we're all sensitive to being poisoned. That's why we have this instinctive fear of spiders and snakes, and not that snakes are bugs, but like creepy crawlies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's just as arbitrary as anything else. However, within our framework of our own collective consciousness, clean things feel positive, dirty, gross things feel negative, and so that's why those things work that way. But yeah, I think the thing that makes the theory that the thing that was spit out, that golden tube, the ball that came out of Lurch, I think what makes that, what you're saying is it's probably an egg that landed.
I think based on what we're seeing, the egg almost looks like something from the exhalation of Mother in space. Okay, and that would mean that would be an evil entity. That would be Bob. But in the story perspective, Sarah Palmer wouldn't have Bob in her. Sarah Palmer would have some sort of construct of the White Lodge inside of her.
Yes, so
that's the only thing that makes sense.
Right, but the mitigating factor to why I don't think that was the egg that came out of Lurch and through the tube after the woman kissed it is this spit moment.
Well, that's what I was saying. That looks exactly like the egg.
These are eggs.
No, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, I know you said it earlier, but you also said later, like this here, that the golden orb thing was the egg that landed, and it does seem like that because of the way
from the chronological telling of it, it seems
edited.
Like, yeah. That's the only thing that makes me think that could possibly be the egg.
But I don't think it's the egg because if this scene wasn't in this show, in this episode, if this scene here with this stuff wasn't here, why did I repeat why did I say it twice? The case for that thing being the egg would be stronger. But the fact that they show a whole bunch of eggs in this goo that's flying around from the evil vomit woman makes me think that those eggs, that's where they came from. That's all I'm saying.
I think the case for it not being the egg is strongest because of the assumption that that's Sarah Palmer. And Sarah Palmer has always had a connection to the White Lodge in a sense.
Yeah, all right.
So I think that's important, but then if that's the case, I cannot quite explain why the broadcast would be done by the Woodsmen unless it was done for another purpose.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like he's working for the woman that did the vomit.
He's working for the mother.
Yeah. He's part of the evil minion thing. He's one of the ring wraiths.
Whatever,
you know what I mean?
Whatever came out of that egg.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to have some sort of connection to the White Lodge.
Okay.
Because if, in fact, that's Sarah Palmer, and of course if it's not Sarah Palmer, my whole theory falls apart, but I strongly believe it to be Sarah Palmer.
Yeah.
If it is her, then she had to have gotten her abilities from somewhere. And she could only get that kind of blessing, I would think, or that kind of power from the Lodge.
Yeah, but it could be in the form of that. Well, the bug's not from the Lodge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She had to have gotten it from somewhere.
Well, maybe the penny. That's what I'm saying, though. The penny.
You think You think she's holding on to a penny all this time?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think she just swallows the penny?
Well, maybe not holding on. Maybe just touching it gave her the power. This is fucking Twin Peaks, man. They have cantaloupes on trees.
You tell me I can go outside right now and find, magical pennies in the gutter?
Yes, I'll throw pennies outside. You can go chase them. You ever play a game with a swimming pool? You throw a quarter and then you go look for the quarter?
Yeah, we do that in fountains though.
Oh, fountains.
those are Virginia swimming pools.
Virginia.
She's like, kids, we're going to the water park.
Mommy, I found a cigarette butt. Can I eat it? Of course.
Break some off for your sister.
Put salt on it. All right. Yeah. Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Get you some ketchup. It's my mom's favorite word. Get you some.
Get you some.
It's all one word though. It's get you some.
Get you some. That's funny. Get you some sweet tea.
Yeah.
You like sweet tea?
I despise tea.
Yeah. We grew up drinking juice too because my parents are from that generation where people trusted TV like a bunch of fucking morons, which is still very true of the older generations. They still think, oh, the newsman said it, so it must be true. It's like, stop trusting that. It's the corporate manipulators.
Brian Williams would never lie to us.
Yes, no, not at all. He would never say anything that would get him fired either, motherfucker. And that's why I'm Brian Williams. Okay, we're getting way distracted. The penny, I'm gonna say it, even though I have no grounding to have any confidence with any of my opinions because I'm an ignorant moron with the show. I almost said ignoramus. That penny is what was delivered from the Lodge. They needed a counterbalancing force. The bug doesn't know about the penny. The penny is the power. It's a Twin Peaks. They could put as much fucking power in a penny that they want. It's metal. It's circular. It's a coin. It's got Abraham Lincoln, who was the best president.
If the egg is from the slime from Mother,
no, not the slime. Sorry, the egg. Yeah.
Yeah. If that is what it is.
Yeah.
And if that is Sarah Palmer, then how does that play into the events of season 1 and season 2?
I don't know because I haven't watched.
What does the bug do to her? She's the mother. She has psychic abilities. She's the mother of Laura Palmer, but she was. Is it possible that the bug is inside of her to suppress her ability to resist her husband, Leland, who's possessed by Bob? Was that the idea all along?
Maybe the penny is just, this is the spirit of Laura. Like, when you finally have a child, it will be Laura Palmer.
Oh, no.
And then the bug in you, though, will also imbue the child with some negative qualities.
Maybe in the next episode they kiss again and the bug transfers from her into him.
Oh.
And that's how Leland gets infected.
Yeah, and he'll be like, oh, I think I swallowed your tongue.
But then again, the bug isn't really Bob. The Bob is that orb that we saw emerge from the chest of Mr. C.
Right.
He takes a different form, which is exactly that.
Yeah, we don't know, man.
So it's hard. I mean, who the heck knows? In the words of David Lynch, what the hell?
Yeah. What the hell? Although if it was true David Lynch, you would fill out with someone's name. He seems to use people's names a lot. Like, what the hell, Ray? What the hell, Albert?
He does do that.
What the hell, James? All right, so. Okay, well, we don't know. We can't. We're just going to keep repeating ourselves if we just keep debating. So anyway, that's the end of it, though. We got a black screen. Oh, yeah, then a horse. Oh, wait, James, I need your help here. Who's that walking off? That's the guy that's the woodsman. So he wanders off into the night. The desert dark swallows him up, and it says horse whinnying distantly. So
that's super important.
Yeah.
Being the White Lodge, the white horse that we did a video about a while back.
Something to do with a horse. They obviously wanted us to hear this horse. This is not like just some random desert horse was near the production here when they were filming. And
as though an entity of the White Lodge is at foot out there,
Or maybe he's got his own horse. Yeah, it could be. There's probably other horses.
Yep.
I don't know, because otherwise... Hey, oh yeah, and I was going to repeat a joke that I have that I said in a Game of Thrones review. I'll just say it anyway. Hey, James, I figured out why horses have such big dicks. Because they gotta fuck horses.
I heard that one.
I think that's hilarious. I've never made anybody laugh with it, but it's funny. That's why. Same with hippos and okay. All right. So starring Kyle MacLachlan, and then I wanted to do this here. No one knows who played. They don't have a name for Carol Strukian.
No,
what the hell is that?
He's the giant.
Oh, that's the giant.
Yeah, it's Lurch.
Oh, so Lurch doesn't have a name. Okay. There was something in here that I wanted. Oh yeah, this is what I want. Oh, look, stunt woodsman.
Yeah,
that's funny. So it was Trent Reznor. I mean, just to confirm, because I don't know what he looks like. So when I saw this, it confirmed it because I was like, who the hell knows? But here at the end, though, I like that they have this. The events, characters, and firms depicted in this motion picture are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons?
Yeah, because this is a slice of life right here.
Coincidental. So so there's some sort of some guy living in a space tuba, creating pennies out of the fucking air, going, "Hey, they stole this from my life."
Yeah. Speaking of
this fucking show,
of the art of the show, though, have you ever heard that famous 30-second soundbite where David Lynch talks about the iPhone and watching? It was done 9 years ago. It was like around the time people just started watching and consuming media on their phone.
No,
you don't know what it's.
Should we play it? Okay, we're gonna play it. But James, you want me to?
Yeah. How do you knowing like his filmmaking style, knowing how seriously he takes art and things like that, do you think that he would be flattered that people would be watching his stuff on an iPhone, or do you think he would think it would diminish from his craft?
Oh, I think it would diminish from his craft. I mean, he seems like the guy that would be like impressed with technology bringing, the growth of art. He doesn't seem like a person who's stuck in one mode. He seems like because he seems very intelligent. But I would assume he would be kind of offensive, especially based on what you said earlier, that he prefers people get their face as close as possible, which I guess is how you watch shows on iPhones.
Yeah.
But
well, let's see if you're right.
All right. Okay, so here we go. We're going to listen to this. We're just going to...
Now, if you're playing the movie on a telephone, you will never in a trillion years experience the film. You'll think you have experienced it, but you'll be cheated. It's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking telephone. Get real.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Phone.
First of all,
on a telephone.
He calls it a telephone.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, I've been watching a lot of Bob Ross. Oh my God, Nap City. That's hilarious. Okay, so what made you think of that? Why did you want to talk about the David Lynch and the iPhone?
No, just because this was such an artistic episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, watching this on a telephone would be, yeah. I think it is, I agree with
Call
you.
it a telephone, too.
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, they are television.
But that was even 9 years ago, so the experience is not as bad now. On an iPad or on a big iPhone 7 Plus, it's more reasonable.
Compared to 10 years ago, yes. But,
Yeah.
I mean...
You never see the details of that bug shooting up her mouth on an old school iPhone.
And the resolution on the phones are pretty good, but there is something about the big ass screen, and it is pretty amazing. But it is all right, like when you do a VR headset, the lenses are, an inch from your eyes or less, and yet it still feels like you're looking far away. So it's amazing. I think we'll be able to do big things with VR. I don't know.
Can you imagine being in like a VR red room of the lodge? Would that be the coolest
with
thing?
the kind of fidelity that you get with like these 4K super high quality televisions and movie screens and stuff? Because that's the problem with VR right now is there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of potential too. Anyway, side point about the whole thing. I agree with David Lynch though. He's right. I like that he swears.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
I like the guy. Sometimes I can't stand this fucking show. But this episode was really weird and compelling. I don't think I could do a whole season of this, but as a break from the rest of it and kind of...
What do you mean a whole season? We're like halfway through.
It was this 8? It's 18?
This is 8. There's 18.
Oh my god.
We're not quite halfway.
And then Game of Thrones is coming up. That's gonna...
Yeah. I think we should cancel Game of Thrones and just do all David Lynch stuff.
I agree.
From now on.
We are David Lynch Professor.
Yeah,
You're watching David Lynch Professor.
You're watching what the hell?
We're not canceling Game of Thrones. That is the OG, man. That's what made us. That's what put us on the map.
Game of Lynch.
Game of Lynch. So, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to repeat myself, I guess. But what did you think about this episode?
I thought it was great. It answered, for me, a lot of questions that I'd wondered about for a while. Like, where did these creatures come from? When did they come from? What is the relationship between, is there a White Lodge? Is there a Black Lodge? Where does the giant come from? What is his role? What is his purpose? Is he an adversarial foe against Bob and the Dark Lodge entities?
Do we really have answers to those questions?
I think we have more.
I feel like we have more.
We have something now, whereas before we had nothing.
Yes. Well, before we had less. Maybe not 0, right? But like, it feels like we've got more pages in the coloring book. It's like we found some extra pages, but we have to fill in a lot of the detail ourselves.
Yeah, the missing pages.
The missing from the diary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Like yeah, we do kind of have answers, but we don't really have I mean, it's not like you know what the White Black Lodge thing is.
We have more speculation material.
Right. I love the primordial stuff. That was the parts that I really enjoyed. But I'm a big sucker for like space and origin of time and all that kind of stuff.
It's
I
almost
can't
like
get enough of it.
The giants and Alien almost. It's like they're all like alien beings that are looking down on Earth and sending forth their children to do battle on the Earth.
Yeah.
It's like the Roman gods up on Olympus, like Zeus turning into a swan and coming down and banging you in the butt to make a baby
to make a butt baby
that will battle.
Yeah. Did you say banging in the butt?
That's what swans do.
Oh, that swans do that. Yeah, that's right.
At least that's what they'd always try to do to me. They were killing me.
When you were a
They
kid?
attack you and they like flap and they like get behind you and you scream and you run like. Yeah.
You got butt banged by a swan, or at least they tried?
I always had pants on.
Oh yeah, you had those old timey underwear, those like long pajamas with the flap on the back with the two buttons.
Yes.
Oh boy, I spilled my moonshine while trying to running away from the butt banging goose. I mean swan.
And then my mom would run up with a washboard and start running a stick line, going, "Get away, get you some of this."
Taking me away from my shows. All right. Well,
My stories.
So there you go, guys. That's our story. That's our David Lynch show. What did you think? Let us know in the comments. I'm gonna, I guess, start. Yeah, I got a lot of reading. I've been reading. I missed the last week of reading. I've been working a bunch of stuff, and so anyway. But thanks for paying attention and leaving comments. We hope people enjoy our reviews here. James, you want anything to add? We've covered a lot of ground.
I finally feel that Mr. C is killable now.
He's killable now.
He doesn't have Bob with him.
Oh, you think he's got one lucky?
So the question is, now that Bob's free, where's Bob going to go next?
So Bob is different than the doppelganger now?
Yes. Okay, Philip Gerard, Mike, is the spirit that inhabits Gerard, the shoe salesman with one arm. The doppelganger was possessed by Bob, who was in the doppelganger, but they were in a symbiosis where they existed at the same time. Sure. One was not entirely in control at any given time.
I understand, but what throws me off is that the doppelganger was created as a copy of Good Cooper, of the agent.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a theory that everyone has a doppelganger.
Oh, okay.
But the doppelganger is not created for a purpose. in that sense that Dougie was special and that he was constructed for a specific purpose by another doppelganger.
Okay.
But that everyone has a positive and a dark side to them, and that your doppelganger is your dark side.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're a crappy person, your doppelganger would be a pretty good guy.
So should Dougie have had a basketball spirit?
No, I feel like Dougie was a construct. But he was not a true doppelganger.
Not the same as the other doppelganger.
No.
Okay, all right. I don't fucking have any idea what's going on. And it all sounds like craziness to me. All right, sounds good. Thank you for explaining that. You do explain it well, by the way. I hope people appreciate that.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey, tell James how much you like his appreciation on Twitter @VideoJamesSP. He is a Twitter skeptic.
Someone followed me today.
Yes, awesome.
My phone beeped, and I was like, "Holy crap,
You're getting
what is
more.
that?"
I know.
And
People have written
us.
us
I was
on
afraid of it because I'm not used to my phone vibrating at work. I just shoved it across the
Well,
table.
let's ruin James as at work. Let's get him fired with so many Twitter follows and likes and comments and send him nice messages. James is not taken to Twitter yet. He likes Reddit, but not.
I'm
Twitter.
like right on Katy Perry's heels.
Yeah, you and who's another singer? Natalie Merchant.
Sure.
So yeah. Also at Suck Professor or Patreon if you want to help us out with some money. That's another option you can do. It's all good if you don't. It's not even available yet, so I haven't even made the video. But come back and give us your money.
It's a horrible thing to say.
I'm saying even if you wanted to right now, you couldn't. That's what I'm saying.
For just $1 a day, you can feed one Hank.
For the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can give Hank a cup of coffee
a day.
Although if you send it in the mail, it'll probably be gross and messy. But that's it. We're good. Like and subscribe, James. You've been great. I love you. I love you so much. I love everything about you.
I think it's time for me to leave.
I love you. Will you help me pluck my nose hairs?
Nope.
Ritualistically. All right. Goodbye. Bye, everybody. See you later next time. What the hell?